Hey, my friend, here's a little reminder to start your day right. Your body is a reflection of how you treat it. Every meal, every sip, every smell, a small choice adds up over time. The energy you feel, the clarity of your thoughts, even your mood, they are all shaped by what you give your body. When you choose to nourish yourself with care, you are doing more than just eating right. You are strengthening your mind, boosting your energy, and fueling those big dreams that keep you going. Every healthy choice is a quiet investment in your future self. The one who wants to live fully, think clearly, and move confidently. Listen, good nutrition isn't just about sticking to a diet. It is a powerful act of self-respect. It is your way of saying that I matter, my health matters, and my dreams matter. The way you feed yourself reflects how much you value your life and everything you are working toward. So today, choose foods that serve you, not just satisfy you. Go for what will keep you sharp, strong, and steady. Because when your body feels good, your purpose becomes unstoppable. You show up differently with power, peace, and presence. So take care of yourself today, my friend. You deserve to feel good and live strong. Good morning.
Oh yes, we thank thee, Lord, for where cattle may roam. Thank thee for the
Good morning, Ghana. It's Thursday, the 30th of October 2025. The week's momentum is building and the energy across the capital is unmistakable. The roads are busy, the markets are stirring, and the nation is on the move. You're tuned into the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM, and I am Nitrebi Hammond. Always a pleasure to have you with us. This morning, we dive into the headlines driving Ghana's economy, from boardrooms to the streets, from policy to pockets, all to help you make sense of where we stand and where we are heading. So settle in. It's time to get informed, inspired, and ready to take on the day. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please do well to like, comment, follow, and share. And as always, this is for progress, this is for Ghana, and for God and country.
You're tuned in to Zed 101.
Now, this song is actually a personal favorite, and it's based on Psalm 34, one of my favorite scriptures as well. And let me just read a few verses from that scripture just to inspire you this morning. He says that I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make its boast in the Lord, and the humble shall hear of it and be glad. He says that, oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. And then it continues to say that I sought the Lord, and he heard me and delivered me from all my fears. May the Lord deliver you from all your fears this morning. They looked to him and were radiant, and their faces were not ashamed. This poor man cried out, and the Lord heard him and saved him out of all his troubles. I pray that the Lord saves you out of all your troubles. And the angel of the Lord encamps all around those who fear him and delivers them. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who trusts in him. Oh, fear the Lord, you his saints. There is no want to those who fear him. The young lions lack and suffer hunger, but those who seek the Lord. It's my favorite part. Those who seek the Lord shall not lack any good thing. This morning, you will not lack any good thing if you seek the Lord. Thank you very much for choosing us. I just want you to take some time and read our scripture and ponder and meditate upon it and see what the Lord does for you. But thank you very much for choosing us. This is the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Trebi Hammond. Let me run you through what we have for you this morning. As usual, we're starting with our news review segment, and then right after that, we get into our business news at exactly 7 o'clock. And then that will be followed by Sports Flash by Victor Kwao. And then at exactly 7:30, I come your way again with a business brief segment. And then we get into transport today, looking at the local flight schedules as well as the traffic situation in town. And then we get into our market trends segment. And of course, we wrap everything up with a roundtable discussion. It's a Thursday, so we do something light, and we're talking health this morning. Very important conversation that I believe that you wouldn't want to miss. Please don't go anywhere. Stick and stay. We'll get into all the things. But it's a very interactive show. Please feel free to send us a WhatsApp on 0544321019, 0544321019. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please do well to drop a comment under any of our live streams, and we will read them for you. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to
All right, thank you very much. Let's get into our news review segment this morning. And as always, we just run through a few of the headlines and then we'll try to break some of them down. Starting with the New Finder newspaper on the front page, this one says that GRA to roll out 3% tax on small businesses from November 5. And that story is on page 5 of the New Finder newspaper. And also, Agribusiness Chamber demands end to grain export ban. And that story is on page 6. Volkswagen celebrates 5 years with T-Cross SUV made for Ghanaian environment. And that story is on page 9 of the paper. And also, fuel prices set to drop from November 1. And that is on page 8 of the paper as well. Let's look at some stories in the. This one is on page 2. It says that Fabag supports cross-border trade and raises concerns over smuggling. And also, analyst commends BOG FIC for new anti-money laundering guidelines, and also shift from donor aid to co-investment that is coming from the Deputy Finance Minister to development partners. And also this one says IGP Special Operations Team strengthens security in Bole. And also Health Minister launches 4-week plan to fix failing electronic management system. And over 120,000 national service personnel illegally paid beyond 1 year limit. And also this one says women cocoa farmers celebrate contributions at Balkov 4th Congress. And also CD's appreciation a result of fiscal discipline coming from Vice President Opoku Ajiman. And also air traffic workers to begin indefinite strike today. And Agribusiness Chamber demands end to grain export ban. And ECG reviews Haptel contract to ensure value for money. And also Catholic bishops call on Vice President as church marks 75 years in Ghana. And also this one says that August private sector credit to GDP gap remain negative. And also ORC urges businesses to make compliance part of corporate culture. And government reaffirms support for women in agri-business. And this one also says that EPA bans Chanfan machines over river pollution. And Diaspora Affairs Office cautions public against fake intermediaries in citizenship drive. And also environmental service providers threatening to halt sanitation operations over unpaid arrears. Let's look at some other portals as well. On myjoyonline.com, top story says that if the anti-LGBTQ bill is not passed, I won't return to Parliament. Emmanuel Bezra says that on live TV. And also, Emmanuel Bezra calls out Afenyo Making over false claims of NDC NPP consensus on LGBTQ. And Moses Foamwenin urges government to take over anti-LGBTQ legislation as public bill. And also show up to work or risk your seat declared vacant. Speaker wants MPs. Speaker wants MPs. And also nothing should hinder passage of anti-LGBTQ bill. Wale MP demands urgent action on the bill. And also still on the bill, a public bill will clear all doubts. Foamweni explains path to resolving cost and legal issues. And also NSA scandal. A CBA entry received 516,000 Ghana cedis monthly under fake volunteer registration, amounting to 8.2 million Ghana cedis. This is according to a report on that. Also, the report says that over 120,000 national service personnel received allowances for multiple years. That is also there. And this one says that all right, let's look at other portals as well. Let's look at my City Newsroom, citynewsroom.com. This story says that the top story says that air traffic safety engineers suspend planned strike. And also a Dubai Hene trial. I'm disappointed but not discouraged. Atachia after Supreme Court ruling. And also Nana Konadu was strong-willed and fearless even as a child, coming from Fred Spafford. And also Bagwing says that MPs who fail to attend sit-ins risk losing seats. And also recent African elections, a mockery of democracy, coming from Asasanti. And also in Sawam, police arrest 12 over possession of 598 cartons of cartridges. And GRE pilots online system to tax digital and e-commerce businesses. And also this one says the Data Protection Commission probes light wave over patient records, and Ghana to assume full membership in Partnership for Information and Democracy. President Mahama says that independent committee to probe building collapse at Roman Ridge. And Okoboy says that health data stored at Health Ministry and not India. Also on graphiconline.com, some of the stories here: police intercept 598 cartons of cartridges and 12 arrested. And also first floor podium concrete slab collapsed in Roman Ridge building incident, and 7-member committee tasked to investigate, coming from the Ayawaso West MCE. And also minority in parliament files motion to suspend vetting of Chief Justice nominee Bafo Boni. And also EPA bans fabrication and sale and use of Changfan mining machines in Ghana. And Health Minister Akando exposes health scandal. And also $94 million MIIF gold trade deal probe. OSP searches homes and offices of Gold Ridge CEO. And Anan Abdul Wahab Aludiba, ex Buffer Stock CEO, charged with stealing over 61 million Ghana cedis. Finance director flees. And also this one says that Ghana needs a stable city for economic growth. President Mahama. All right, let's look at some stories also on bnftonline.com. It says that GEF 2025, that's a Ghana Economic Forum 2025. It says that economic recovery built on discipline and not miracles. That is coming from the Vice President. And also BOG shifts focus to productive growth as stabilization gains hold. And also economic ownership key to sustaining city stability. That is coming from experts. And also pay us all our arrears now or we shut down. ESPA to government. And Talu shares strategic sector plans with lawmakers. All right, those are some of the stories there. Let's look at the international front on BBC. On BBC, Trump lowers tariffs on China and announces end to rare earths roadblock after Xi meeting. And also this one says that investigation after woman left behind by cruise ship dies on island. And those are some of the stories on BBC. Let's look at CNN. Trump says trade deal with China could soon be signed. And also a certain species of bat can glow under UV light. Scientists review. I don't know why really. Okay, and Reuters, this one says, okay, all right. It says that Tanzania tells civil servants and students to stay home after chaotic election, and protests erupts in Cameroon's Douala as opposition leader rejects Biya victory. And also South Africa's this term posts 9% rise in half-year earnings, and SKP describes summary killings after Dafer cities fall. All right, those are some of the stories on trending. Let's just I have joining me over the phone lines Michael Akpene Afolabi to help me break down some of them. Michael, good morning.
Good morning, me. How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you too?
Well, by God's grace, I'm doing very well. Doing very well.
Great. Good to hear. Hear from you this morning, and good to have you on the show. Okay, let's touch on a few of the stories this morning. Now, fuel prices are set to drop from November 1. That story is on page 8 of the New Finder newspaper. Let me see if we can touch on that briefly. It says that Ghanaians can expect a significant reduction in fuel prices at the pumps beginning November 1, 2025, according to the latest outlook report from the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, which guides pricing decisions for oil marketers nationwide. And petrol is expected to fall by up to 5.21%, bringing pump prices down to around 12.92 per liter from 12 CD 92 pesos per liter from 13 CD 93 pesos per liter. Now diesel is likely to decrease between 6.03% and 8.13%, reducing the liter price to approximately 13 CD 10 pesos from the 14 CDs 56 pesos. Michael, well, that's the story basically. Let me just pick your thoughts on that. It gives the details, but let me just pick your thoughts on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's good news when fuel prices go down, and I believe that on seeing this story, drivers and even us passengers will be happy that it will certainly come with the probability of prices of
you mean transport fares
coming down. That is, yes, transport fares coming down if they agree on doing that. But at the same time, it is very impressive because this is the first time, like this is one of the biggest reductions we are seeing in a single pricing window for fuel products this year, 2025, and it's very, very impressive. So I want to commend all the stakeholders involved in this for helping us achieve this. And I wish that these prices can be stable, right? These prices can be stable in the midst of all that we are going to, find a new government in power and everything, that financially things are not so stable like that. So this comes as very, very heartwarming news for the consumer. And I hope that we get to enjoy the benefits of it for some time to come.
Absolutely. So we hope that this is actually a projection. So hopefully they comply. The drivers, those are the fuel pumps. They comply with that, and then maybe we can see some reduction also in our prices, our transport fare, like you said. All right. So that is that. I think that is actually some very good news for consumers. Now let's look at some other stories. Okay, this one says that. All right. Give me a few seconds. Let me just try and see if we can get one other one. Now, GRA to roll out 3% tax on small businesses from November 5. Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority is set to introduce a 3% modified taxation model on small businesses effective November 5 as part of efforts to expand the country's tax net. Now, the initiative aims to simplify the process for informal and online businesses, including startups, enabling greater revenue mobilization in line with existing laws. Now, Commissioner General Anthony Sapon disclosed this during a visit by Minister of State for Public Sector Reforms, Lydia Lamisi Akamvariba, to the GRA headquarters. Now, he underscored the significance of the informal sector, which contributes over 30% to Ghana's GDP, but accounts for around 70% of all businesses in the country. Now, Mr. Sapon explained that if you take about 30 million USD and have been let me quote. It says that if you take about 30 million USD, and I have been saying 50% are in the informal sector, and that is huge, unquote. He noted that the new tax system will target the informal sector with a focus on convenience and simplicity. Under the proposed scheme, self-employed individuals, sole proprietors, or small business owners who earn not more than 500,000 Ghana cedis annually will be required to pay a flat rate of 3% on their income. Now, for example, someone earning 200,000 Ghana cedis per year will pay 6,000 cedis in tax under this system. Now, the Commissioner General emphasized the affordability of the tax and its potential to encourage voluntary compliance. And Mr. Sapon further projected that informal sector could include up to 10 million taxpayers, representing a major revenue potential for the government. All right, Mike, that's the story there. Let me hear from you.
From the time I saw that NIT was doing a campaign, going into the markets and sensitizing our market women and other informal sector workers about their need to be enrolled onto a pension scheme, and then they developed a small pension scheme for them. I just knew that GRA was going to be next. GRA was going to follow suit. It's very, very interesting. Um, this the intent to widen the tax net and to ensure that the informal sector is also part of our tax system. It's a good idea. I mean, taxes are not friendly, but they are important for any successful nation in the world. Taxes have been a great part of their development.
Yeah.
However, I am wondering if there are, that is my opinion, I'm wondering if particularly online businesses, there are people who do online businesses who earn 200,000 cedis a year, right? I'm really,
okay,
really
you'll be
thinking
shocked though.
about
People are making money.
200,000 cedis a year.
Yeah, people are making money.
Well, you see, if that's the case, then I think 3% is not a bad rate at all. Yeah, 3% is very fair. It's very calm, very, very fair rate. And especially considering that out of that, your 200,000 cedis, you only pay 6,000 cedis as tax. It's not a bad idea at all. So I'm really, really looking forward to the rollout of this new tax regime. And what I wish the GRA does from now on is to sensitize the informal sector workers and sole proprietors, among other online business people and all that, sensitize them on how important they are to the growth of our economy. Remember that the percentage of informal sector workers is far more than that of the formal sector. So they constitute a huge percentage of our business environment.
Yeah.
So they have to be sensitized as much as possible about how important it is for them to pay their taxes and to be part of developing our country, so that when the rollout begins, they are not at a loss as to why they have to pay these taxes. But honestly, 3% is a fair deal for our informal sector business owners.
Right, but I mean, just to add to what you're saying, I agree with you. I mean, we need to do a lot of education. I haven't seen quite some education going on. I don't know whether they've been doing it because
I mean, apart from seeing it in the paper, I didn't even
know that there was something coming up. Yes. And yes, I haven't seen this conversation at all. But November 5, that is quite sudden. That is quite too close, I think.
I really wish, if possible, maybe next year. They start rolling it out from next year. That should be okay, so that they can have time to do their rotation and let business owners know what is coming.
Yeah, I think so, because we need to really educate the people, because informal sector, the reason why they are not on our tax net, one of the reasons why they are not on our tax net is because of the lack of proper structures and also education in that space. And so it's very important that we take time to educate them, sensitize them, get them to understand exactly what we are doing, and then we can roll this out. But I agree with you when you say that 3% is not too much. Yeah. So I hope that the GRA does the necessary education, and then we can see some progress along those lines. And because we need a revenue. The reason why we've been borrowing as a country a lot of times is because we don't have a lot of money coming in. Even the little that comes in from our taxes and everything, we lose so much to corruption, And so we need to widen the tax net. We need to also block certain loopholes that lead to corruption in this country. It's a very important thing that we have to do. If not, we'll be getting the revenue, but it won't go anywhere, because at the end of the day, there are still loopholes. Just look at this story talking about the 120,000. It's here. It says that over 120,000 national service personnel illegally paid beyond 1 year limit. And it's quite unfortunate. Let me just read a portion of that. It says that a forensic audit conducted by the Auditor General uncovered massive financial irregularities at the National Service Authority, revealing that more than 120,000 national service personnel were irregularly paid allowances beyond the legally mandated 1 year service period. Now, according to the technical and forensic report presented to Parliament on October 1, a staggering 1 billion Ghana cedis in public funds was disbursed to national service personnel who received payments exceeding the approved 13-month limit, which includes a one-time travel and transport allowance. Now, the audit examined payroll data from 2018 to 2024 and found that 120,777 individuals continue to receive monthly stipends well after the official completion of their national service. In some cases, payments reportedly spanned several years, suggesting deep-seated payroll manipulation and weak oversight within the institution. And these findings, auditors said, constitute a clear violation of Act 426 of 1980, and which governs the National Service Scheme and stipulates a 1 year compulsory service for all eligible Ghanaians under 18 and above. Age 18 and above. And the report further indicated that the irregular payments form parts of a broader pattern of fiscal mismanagement at the authority, bringing total detected financial irregularities to 2.45 billion Ghana cedis over the review period. And other anomalies include payments to vendors without valid contracts, missing procurement documentations, and transactions without proof of service delivery. Now, the Auditor General described these lapses as symptomatic of a broken internal control system, stressing the gravity of the findings, requires urgent institutional reforms and potential criminal prosecution of those found culpable. Well, Mike, that is a story there, and I mean, we're talking about taxation. We're getting some money coming, but we're losing so much to corruption, and this is a typical example. I don't know your thoughts on this.
I agree completely with the Auditor General when he says that there needs to be urgent institutional reforms in the National Service Authority, because it is very, very disturbing. It's very, very, very disturbing to see these figures. Imagine 120,000 national service personnel being paid continuously after they completed their national service. I don't know which year they completed their national service, and they have been paid every single month after that, after whenever it was discovered. Very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. And the government of the day should be aware that if there's any reason why Ghanaians voted for them, right, it is because of issues such as these. So the reports can come out. We can hear all the percentages, but when it comes to prosecution, when it comes to taking action, when it comes to these internal institutional reforms, radical institutional reforms, which I believe will be led by the current Director General of the National Service Authority, when it comes to those actions that need to be taken, they should be as immediate as possible. We don't want to hear at the end of 4 years that nobody in the NSS scandal has been convicted. Nobody. We don't want to hear that. Ghanaians are not ready to take that as an excuse, because this is precious taxpayers' money. Imagine, like you are saying, we are getting so much revenue in taxes. Imagine the pain that the Ghanaian worker, the Ghanaian citizen who pays indirect taxes, and even these informal sector workers who we are trying to get to enter the tax net, how they will feel hearing that taxpayers' money is being spent in this manner. They wouldn't even be encouraged to pay tax if they could avoid these taxes, right? So action has to be taken, and reforms have to take place as soon as possible. Otherwise, once some people see that they can easily get away. Some people have gotten away with corruption at the authority. Other leaders of the authority who come after them will do even worse than this. So we really, really need to act as soon as possible, and not just with the National Service Authority. I'm sure that there are similar issues in other institutions.
Oh yes, I mean there are so many. There are so many. I mean there's one in line with buffer stock as well. And
exactly, the buffer stock
yes.
issue is there. I think recently too there was when the ECG appeared at the Public Accounts Committee.
Yes, I watched that.
There.
I watched that meeting. It was. You see, it was very, very. I mean, very disheartening and quite worrying. That we can't defend some of the expenses we've made, and the money can't be traced. And I'm like, if yeah, go ahead.
Yes. We need to take urgent action on all of this, right? Otherwise, what will come after this will even be worse. That we can't even talk about it here, because the figures we'll see will be outrageous.
That's true.
They'll be outrageous. So government needs to put its foot on the ground and ensure that, look, they are showing. It's not about saying that we don't condone corruption. Now the corruption is there, right? The stealing is there. So that you don't condone it by taking action. If not, you have failed. You have failed. And you yourself, as a government, will prove yourselves to be corrupt, because you have not taken any action concerning the issues that are taking place. So we really, really need to work as soon as possible to resolve this situation.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah, Mike. I think that's that. Hopefully, we get to speak again tomorrow. But this all time will allow us for the news review this morning. Thanks so much for your time, and thanks for sharing your thoughts with us.
It's always a pleasure.
All right, please do enjoy the rest of your day. All right, exactly 7 o'clock. Up next is business news. Please stay tuned.
Welcome to the business news segment. Coming up, IMF board approval for the 5th review of Ghana's program to be secured in December 2025. Board inaugurates management committee to boost efficiency and accountability. Many thanks for your time. To our stories now. The board approval by the International Monetary Fund for the 5th review of Ghana's bailout program will likely be secured in December 2025. That's according to IC Research prediction. This is coming after the government of Ghana and the IMF mission reached a staff-level agreement on the 5th review in October 2023, as the authorities met all 6 quantitative performance criteria and 4 indicative targets for the period to end in June 2025. The approval would trigger a disbursement of $385 million by the fund, which strengthened the forex reserves ahead of the January 2026 Eurobond debt service, estimated at $689 million. IC Research explained that the IMF struck a more bullish tone in the 5th review compared to the steadily softer tone deployed over the first 4 reviews. We took a closer view of the language adopted by the fund at the end of the 5th review and inferred a more positive and tangibly confident assessment of the late latest performance and near-term economic prospects, the fund described the authority's actions to support financial sector stability as strong, while indicating that the authorities made notable strides in addressing long-standing challenges in the energy sector. Overall, the IMF concluded that macroeconomic stabilization is taking root, with inflation forecast to remain within the Bank of Ghana's medium-term target range, which is 8.0%, allowing for gradual monetary policy normalization. Away from that, the private sector credit to gross domestic products, which is the GDP gap, remained negative as of the end of August 2025. The Bank of Ghana disclosed in its September 2025 monetary policy report. The private sector credit to GDP gap is another measure of macro-financial risk. A positive credit to GDP gap indicates that total private sector credit extensions relative to the size of the economy is above its long-term trend, and vice versa. According to the central bank, Ghana's credit to GDP remains negative and declining, suggesting the need for measures to promote credit delivery to support the real economy. Meanwhile, the soundness of the banking sector continues to improve as at August 2025. According to the Bank of Ghana, the banking sector soundness index was significantly above the long-term trend, nearing the pre-domestic debt exchange program, which is the DDEP level. This reflects improving solvency positions, adequate liquidity, and strong earning performance. The non-performing loans ratio, though marginally improved, remained elevated. The report said the ongoing macroeconomic recovery, supported by the implementation by banks on how to reduce non-performing loans, should help moderate the build-up of new non-performing loans and improve overall asset quality. Moving on, Volkswagen Ghana has celebrated its 5th anniversary with the unveiling of the new Volkswagen T-Cross SUV, underscoring its commitment to deepening local automotive production and expanding its presence in Ghana's fast-growing vehicle market. The event, held yesterday at Airport City in Accra, brought together key industry stakeholders, automobile enthusiasts, and business partners to commemorate the milestone. Speaking to Zed News on the sidelines of the celebration, Chief Executive Officer of Volkswagen Ghana, Mr. Jeffrey Opepra, expressed satisfaction with the company's steady growth and increasing market acceptance over the past 5 years. He noted that Volkswagen's locally assembled vehicles have earned stronger consumer confidence and brand recognition. He said the Ghanaian market has evolved, and they've seen great acceptance from customers who value quality, affordability, and reliability. Hence, their decision to assemble vehicles locally rather than import fully built ones has truly made a difference.
It's been great. As you see, where we have come from 5 years, I mean, starting everything is not just rosy and whatever. There has been quite bumps in there, but so far, I think we've done well. We pride ourselves that to penetrate the market with our assembly plan established in 2020, and then also move on to produce vehicles for the market, locally assembly, and then with a focus of even going into the sub-region. I think it's a great achievement and a milestone that we have achieved in the last 5 years. Difficulties, we got a lot, but of course we have come to stay, and we want to move on forward. So we're just looking forward to get to manufacturing stage. But so far, I would say we're happy. It could be better, but yeah, of course, there are also economic challenges and all these things, but it does not stop us. The show must go on. The market acceptance have grown because where we come from again, we came into the market where VW used to be known back in the late 80s and even to the early 90s. But with time, the VW lost a lot of market share. That's why we use this strategy to assembling vehicles here when the government policy came for automotive development in relation to industrialization. We find it is also an appropriate time to jump on such a policy to assembly vehicles bringing VW to the doorstep of Ghanaians and also in the sub-region.
That was the Chief Executive Officer of Volkswagen Ghana, Mr. Jeffrey O. Pepra. To one of our headline stories, the Ghana Cocoa Board has inaugurated management committees for 4 of its key divisions and subsidiaries as part of efforts to strengthen governance, enhance institutional efficiency, and promote accountability. The newly inaugurated committees are for the Seed Production Division, Cocoa Health and Extension Division, Cocoa Research Institute of Ghana, and the Cocoa Clinic. Speaking at the inauguration ceremony, the Chief Executive of Cocoa Board, Dr. Randy Abbey, underscored the crucial roles played by divisions and subsidiaries in fulfilling the board's mandate. He noted that the establishment of the committees align with President John Dramani Mahame's research agenda, which seeks to promote efficiency and innovation within public institutions. He urged committee members to adopt creative and resourceful approaches in addressing the challenges within the cocoa sector. Dr. Abbey further encouraged the use of internally generated funds to implement solutions rather than over-relying on external financial support. To some more business stories, investor confidence in Ghana's capital market is coming under renewed scrutiny following the implementation of the capital gains tax on securities, a policy that some stakeholders say risk reducing the market's appeal to both local and foreign investors. While the Ghana Stock Exchange remains one of the best performing markets globally this year, its managing director Abnamwa says concerns among potential issuers persist, particularly around the cost of doing business and the broader macroeconomic environment. Speaking during a panel discussion at the 14th Ghana Economic Forum in Accra, Madam Abnamwa said several companies are holding back on new listings or capital raising efforts due to structural bottlenecks that make the investment climate less competitive. She pointed out that the high cost of capital and energy challenges continue to weigh on business confidence, even as market activity shows signs of recovery. The Ghana Stock Exchange Managing Director also added that discussions around taxation remain key to sustaining investor momentum. She further stated that the stock exchange is working closely with policy makers to ensure that the market remains attractive to long-term investors. To our final business story, the leadership of Ghana's major farmer groups and agribusinesses associations have declared a nationwide boycott of the 2025 Farmers' Day celebrations, citing government inaction and worsening conditions in the country's food production sector. The decision, announced in a joint press release yesterday, involves rice producers and millers, maize farmers, mechanization service providers, input dealers, and apex farmer associations, together with key players in the agribusiness value chain. The boycott will affect Farmers' Day event at the district, regional, and national levels. According to the statement, the action stems from what the farmers describe as the deep frustration over the government's failure to address mounting challenges, particularly those affecting rice, maize, and soya producers. The group accused the government of neglecting its promise to purchase locally produced rice and maize through the National Food Buffer Stock Company, as assured by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture in a public statement issued on 23rd of September 2025. The farmers also raised concerns over the influx of cheap, expired, and smuggled rice into local markets, which they say are often backed by politically connected importers. These imported products, they allege, are repackaged and sold without proper regulation or tax compliance, severely undermining local farmers and millers. As of last week, the group noted that more than 200,000 metric tons of paddy rice from the 2024 harvest remain unsold across the Upper East, Northern, and Northeast regions, with Ghana's 2025 rice output projected at 1.5 million metric tons. Farmers fear a worsening glut that could drive many out of businesses. And this is where we end the business news segment. A look at our top stories again. IMF board approval for fifth review of Ghana's program to be secured in December 2025. Also, private sector credit to GDP remains negative as of August 2025. And Ghana Cocoa Board inaugurates management committees to boost efficiency and accountability. We came your way with detail of these stories and many others. For more news, you can log on to zmultimedia.com, or you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH, and on TikTok and YouTube at Z Multimedia. My name is Stephen Freeman. Up next is Sports Flash. Do stay with us.
You're tuned in to Zed. You're tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM, your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
The stage is set for something special.
It is time to go racing.
Garnacho! Oh wow! Oh wow!
LeBron James with no regard for human life.
You couldn't write a script like this.
Here's Metzer. This is positive. Williams. Kudus! A Korean joy did not last for long.
Oh my gosh, Kudus.
Set back for Partey! Oh yes! Oh yes, Thomas Partey!
Well, so 30th October, welcome to the Thursday edition of Sports Flash on the Business Breakfast on Zed. My name is Vector Kwao. Liverpool conceded 3 goals at Anfield as they were slaughtered by Crystal Palace.
That's a lovely ball to pick out Engomoa. And here come Liverpool again. Engomoa's ball, Chiesa forces a save from the goalkeeper, who was just forced a little wide. That's a decent ball for Munoz. Oh, chance, our goal out of absolutely nothing for Crystal Palace.
Well, so that is how Liverpool conceded 3 goals at their backyard. Reactions coming up. Plus, former Hasselhoff board secretary Ernest Thompson says Hasselhoff is like Real Madrid. Well, thanks for sticking with me for all the update. Now let's get into it. And Arne Slot's lineup gamble backfired as match change Liverpool lost at home to Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup last season. The Reds' 6th defeat in 7 games. Slot named 3 teenagers in his starting lineup and a further 5 among his substitutes as he made 10 changes from the team that was beaten 3-2 at Brentford on Saturday. Poor defending allowed Palace's Ismail Yassar to score twice in 4-minute spell at the end of the first half to take the game away from the host before Yeremy Pino added a late third with a low-curled finish. With no other than 21 on the bench and first-team players Virgil van Dijk, Mohamed Salah and Hugo Ekitike all were absent. Liverpool made a team exit in the competition and they had won twice in the past 4 seasons.
First half hour, I think we made it a game. Actually, maybe we had the better chances in that first half hour. But after we conceded the 1-0 and just before halftime the 2-0, we knew, I think everybody in the stadium knew that it would have always been very difficult to play against the structured team where we, till now, I think it was only the Charity Shield when we were able to score twice against them. All the other games only one or not, no goal. No, mostly one. Then we always knew it was very difficult, especially with a team that hasn't played together many times.
Well, so that is Liverpool boss and Slot speaking. Now let's hear from former Liverpool midfielder JB Redknapp, who doubts the Red boss' intent in the Carabao Cup after he selected a weak side that included no first-team players on the bench.
Choice I made, that was a team I picked. It was the wrong team. Make no mistake. I mean, I said
even with Villa Real Madrid, City.
You picked a team today. No, look, when you looked at them, I see you asked me the question beforehand. I said, well, you've made it really difficult for yourself tonight picking that team. You've not helped the young players in there because the team and the players in and around them. He made 10 changes from the weekend against Brentford. Like you can't tell me that he's picked that team today and those subs thinking that will get me a result against a really good Crystal Palace side. You might hope you can, but I didn't believe for 1 second they could beat him. And he's made a mistake today. But you know what? He's been unbelievable since he come to the club. They're under this is real pressure for everybody concerned. But that's football. That's the price on the ticket. They climbed the mountain last year. They did something absolutely sensational. Now they've got to go back to that character they showed last year to when they won the title and stick together and get some results. Because there's not just, when you ask what's going on with Liverpool, there's so many things. There's so many things. It's not just the defence. It's not just the midfield. It's not just full. It's everything right now. And they've got to show some character. They've got really tough games ahead. But I think today, and I haven't said it very often about Arne Slot because I think he's been sensational, but today was a big mistake. You can't tell me that team was ever going to be capable of beating a really strong Crystal Palace side.
Well, so that is former Liverpool midfielder Jamie Redknapp. And away from Liverpool, Tottenham Hotspurs were beaten 2-0 on the road by Newcastle. And let's hear what Spurs boss Thomas Frank has been saying as he blames the referee for largely part of the problem they face at St. James Park.
I think for me we conceded 2 goals because of 2 mistakes, in my opinion. Unfortunately, the ref was part of the mistake in the first one. I'm not saying there's things we can't do better, but his boots is off. We need to tie his shoelace, tie his boot, and you can clearly see on the footage afterwards that the whole boot is off. So you need to do it, and it's minute 23. It's not like we had delayed the game for 10 minutes and we are 1-0 up. It's common sense to allow him time to get in. So. As soon as he had the boot on, the ref let it go, and then to make it perfect, Jet's man he had to mark was Shah that scored, so that's why we were very animated. I think that was the biggest one. I think the rest was fine. There's always small bits you can be.
Also, that is Thomas Frank speaking there. Meanwhile, Newcastle manager Eddie Howe was full of praise for Italian international Sandro Tonali.
Oh, he was excellent today. He's full of energy. Outstanding, both in and out of possession. So yeah, very pleased for Sandy. He's had a nasty illness actually, and it knocked him a little bit. But he was very honest about initially saying that he couldn't perform for the team, so we left him out. And today was the right time to bring him back in, and he looks 100% fit. And yeah, delighted with his performance.
Thanks, Tim.
Well, so that is Newcastle manager Eddie Howe speaking there. Now let's move away to the Emirates because Spanish manager for Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, says that he's pleased with the result and the performance of the players despite making a lot of changes to their starting lineup.
A very special evening, to be fair. Very happy for various reasons. Obviously, we are in the quarterfinals. We won the game against a really tough opponent. We made 10 changes. We played players that never played together. Yet we made 2 huge debuts for Max and Andre, and that feeling of giving the opportunity to somebody and fulfilling a dream is unique, and I'm very happy that things turned out to be very positive and we managed to win the game.
Well, so that is Mikel Arteta speaking there. Now let's look at some of the other results in the Carabao Cup, and it is Arsenal 2, Brighton 0, Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 3, Swansea City 1, Manchester City 3, Wolves 3, Chelsea 4, and of course at the St. James Park, Newcastle 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Let's return to the domestic scene because Black Queens head coach Kimlas Bjorkegren has been speaking about his players. He says he wishes his players will play at the top height of football.
I think we already can have many players that actually can move to stronger leagues. That's something I'm pushing for. I know it's not so easy, but we can see now that we have 2 young players with Nancy and Comfort that actually moved to the Spanish league. I think that's a great step for them, for example. But you spoke about Doris, for example. I think she have a potential to play in a top 5 league. But many more, of course. I mean, so I would love to see more Ghanaian player in the stronger leagues. I know that they're doing a good job here as well in the local teams, but if they are moving, I prefer them to move sometimes to stronger leagues. Yeah.
Well, so that is Black Queens head coach Kimlas Bjorkegrin, who says he wishes to see some of his players play in the big leagues across the world. Now let's go to the Phobian because former House of Folk board secretary Ernest Thompson says House of Folk is like Real Madrid and not a team that goes all the way down to just pick any player.
Madrid. It's not a team you go all the way down to go and pick journeymen to come and play. You can pick some few people from down, but you need to invest on some key players. Right. I mean, when push comes to shove and we are playing, I know I have an Ishmaelado, a Emmanuel Sekufo, a Charles Taylor, who can do some change. I have a family. Right. You don't see that in the team. So there's something a little bit wrong recruitment policy. Right. And it's a team that even when they draw, the supporters are annoyed. So you need to invest in that area. The problem with recruitment is that if you don't have the good and the correct people to advise you, you might end up buying a lot of players by wasting money. Right? Because they will not bring to the fore what you want to really achieve.
Well, so that is Accra Suffolk former board secretary Ernest Thompson speaking there. And that will be all for Sports Flash on a Business Breakfast on Zed. My name is Victor Kwao. Trust God and have a great sporty day.
You're tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM, your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
101.9 FM, your lifestyle, leisure, and business platform. That was Team Eternity Ghana with a UCC Experience medley. And just before that, you had heard my colleagues, Freeman Stephen with the business news, and also Victor Carl with the sports flash. Now we get into our business brief segment. And I get to share something briefly with you ahead of our roundtable discussion. Please stay tuned. Thank you very much. Let's get into our business brief for today. Now, today we're talking about something that goes beyond business, something that goes beyond money and goes beyond work. We're talking about life and, of course, about health and about paying attention before it's too late. That's what we're talking about this morning. You know, sometimes we think we are fine. You know, we are busy, we are eating, we are living, everything feels normal, until something happens that shakes us. And that's the reality of the matter. And that's exactly what happened to Akosia. Now, Akosia Owusu is a 38-year-old banker from Kumasi. Now, she's a mother of two, and she's always on the move. You know, she's one of those strong Ghanaian women we all know. The one who wakes up very early, gets the kids ready, head straight to work, come home exhausted. You know, that thing, you know. And so she often skipped breakfast. For lunch, she usually had fried rice or maybe pastries. And then she exercised only. I mean, she never exercised really. She always postponed it and say, oh, maybe next weekend, you know. And I'm sure that sounds familiar because for many of us, that's a routine. We often skip breakfast and then we try lunch, something small on lunch. We don't exercise or nothing. But one evening, while she was taking her bath, Akosia felt something small, a painless lump in her left breast, and she ignored it. She said to herself, oh, it's probably nothing, you know, maybe hormones or maybe stress or maybe just something. Now, weeks went by, and the lump stayed. A friend insisted that she check it out at the hospital. And when she finally went to the hospital, the doctor said something that no one ever wants to ever hear. And the doctor said that she had stage 2 breast cancer. Now, she was stunned because she didn't smoke, she didn't drink, there was no family history. So why her? Those were the questions running through her mind. And that's when her doctor and her nutritionist sat her down and explained that sometimes it is not just about genetics. It is also about how we live, our diet, our stress levels, how much we rest, and how active we are. Now, and for Akosia, that was a wake-up call. That was a wake-up call. She started treatment, yes, but she also changed her lifestyle. She began eating more fruits, more vegetables, whole grains, and fish. She cut down on processed food and sugar, and then she started walking every morning. Nothing fancy, just a few minutes each day. And slowly, her strength returned. Now, today, as we speak, Akosia is cancer-free, and she's using her story to educate others, speaking at schools and women's fellowships, reminding people that ignoring small signs can be very, very dangerous. Now, friends, Akosia's story could be anyone's story. It could be yours, it could be mine, it could be your sisters, it could be your colleagues, anybody at all. Because here's the thing, breast cancer doesn't always come with pain or some obvious symptoms. It starts small and quietly. And many women don't check until it is too late. Now, let's put things in perspective. According to the World Health Organization, breast cancer is the most common cancer among women worldwide, and also right here in Ghana. Now, it makes up about 31% of all our cancer cases among Ghanaian women, 31%. And every year, about 4,000 women are diagnosed. And almost half of them lose their lives. Not because the disease can't be treated, but because it's often detected quite late. And here's something most people don't know. Men can also get breast cancer, though it is rare, but about 1 in every 100 cases globally happens in men. But the good news is this, and this is what I want you to hold on to. When breast cancer is found early, treatment works. People are able to recover, people live, and people like Akosia go on to thrive. So early detection really does save lives. Now let's talk about lifestyle, because that's where we have some control. Our bodies reflect how we treat them. And if you eat healthy, if you stay active, if you rest well and manage stress, your body rewards you. And if you constantly fill up on fried food, sugary drinks, and late night stress, your body eventually fights back. You don't need expensive diets to be healthy. We have powerful foods right here in Ghana. We have kontomire, we have beans, we have millets, we have groundnuts, oranges, pawpaw, garden eggs, fish, and a lot of water. And these are simple local foods that can actually protect you. And let's not forget to exercise. Even a 30-minute walk each day can actually help. You don't need a gym membership. All you need is consistency. And then there's sleep. Yes, sleep. Many of us underestimate how important that is. When you sleep, your body is able to repair and restore itself. Because the lack of sleep increases stress hormones, which can affect your immune system and your overall health. So it's very important that you sleep. And speaking of stress, prolonged stress doesn't just make you tired. It actually weakens your defenses. So it's something we have to pay attention to. Now, we live in a fast-paced time, but we must always learn to pause. We must always learn to breathe and also care for ourselves. Now, I know someone listening to me right now is thinking, hey, all this talk about cancer, it's scary. But I don't want you to be afraid. I want you to just be aware, because knowledge is power and early action is life. Now, Akosia didn't know, but you do. You have the chance to make small, steady changes that protect your health and your family. Now, let me share what we can learn from Akosia's story. Number 1, early detection saves life. Don't ignore anything unusual. Make sure that every time you check your breast, check it regularly, go for screening, and make sure that you are always checking. We can also talk about lifestyle, because lifestyle matters. You have to eat balanced meals. You need to exercise and avoid alcohol and tobacco. Very, very important. Now, the number 3 lesson that I picked from Akosia's story is that health is a daily choice. You don't need to overhaul everything overnight. You need to start small and decide to do it every day. Now, number 4 is seek help early. Because don't let don't let self-medication be your go-to option anytime. Don't wait for things to go on their own way. Don't self-medicate. Make sure that you visit the hospital and get checked. Now, you can also share awareness. That's also a very important thing. Talk about it. Encourage others, because your story might save someone's life, which is very important. And let's be honest, sometimes we Ghanaians don't like to talk about these things. We prefer to pray it away or even wait it out, But faith works best when we add wisdom. God gave us knowledge and resources for a reason. So you need to check, you need to ask questions, and don't be shy about your health. Very important. Now, as you get ready to open your shops or you get ready for work this morning, I want you to ask yourself, when was the last time I paid attention to my body? When was the last time you paid attention to your body? And also, am I taking care of myself the way I take care of my business or my family? Are you doing that? Because your body is your first investment, which is very, very important. Now, in a few minutes, we will get into our roundtable discussion, and you don't want to miss it. We'll be speaking with a health practitioner who will help us understand exactly how nutrition, lifestyle, and certain risk factors play a role in breast cancer. And I'm going to ask him the kind of foods that will protect you most, how your stress actually affects your cancer risk and all of these things, and how busy people like yourself and like myself can make healthier choices without feeling overwhelmed. So it's a very important conversation. So please stay tuned, because this conversation could be the reminder, could be the nudge maybe even get a wake-up call that you need today. So this will be all for our business brief segment this morning. Up next is Transport Today with Lois Amano. Please stay tuned.
This is the pre-boarding announcement for flight 3728.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
All right, thank you very much. Let's get into Transport Today. Lois Amano is here to bring us all of that. Lois, good morning.
Good morning, Nee.
How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm very good.
Okay.
Tell us what you have for us.
Okay, so as usual, I'll take you through the local flight schedules, and then I'll go to town and take some. We'll look at how traffic looks like in town this morning, and then we'll take some stories from the aviation sector. So I'll start by going straight into the local flight schedules for today. So I'm starting with Passion Air. Now, Accra to Kumasi flight schedule today, this morning, 6:20 a.m., 8:50 a.m., and 11:20 a.m. And the afternoon schedules are 1:50 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. and the evening schedule is 7:20 p.m. So Accra to Kumasi flight schedule for today, this morning, Passion Air are 6:20 a.m., 8:50 a.m., 11:20 a.m. and the afternoon schedules are 1:50 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. and the evening schedule is 7:20 p.m. and it takes 40 minutes to get to your destination. Now, Accra to Takoradi flight schedule for today, this morning, is 6:20 a.m. and the afternoon schedule is 4:20 p.m. and it takes 50 minutes to get to your destination. Now, there's only one flight schedule for Accra to Sunyani today, and it's at 9:10 a.m. and it takes 1 hour to get to your destination. The same goes for Accra to Wa. There's only one flight schedule for Accra to Wa today, and it's at 9:50 a.m. and it takes 1 hour 40 minutes to get to your destination. Now, Accra to Tamale flight schedule for today, this morning, is 6 a.m. and the afternoon schedules are 12:20 p.m. and 4 p.m. and it takes 1 hour 20 minutes to get to your destination. Now let's move to Africa World Airlines. Accra to Kumasi flight schedule for today, this morning, are 6:20 a.m., 7:20 a.m., 8:40 a.m., 9:40 a.m. and 11 a.m. and the afternoon schedules are 1:20 p.m., 2:10 p.m. and 3:10 p.m. and the evening schedule is 7 p.m. and it takes 40 minutes to get to your destination. Now, Accra to Takoradi flight schedule for today, this morning, is 7:20 a.m. and the afternoon schedules are 12 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. and it takes 40 minutes to get to your destination. Now, Accra to Tamale flight schedule for today, this morning, are 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. and the afternoon schedules are 12:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. and it takes 1 hour to get to your destination. So that's it for the local flight schedules. Now we'll go to town and we'll see how traffic is looking like in town this morning. So there's a bit of traffic on the Spintex Road this morning from the Cosmopolitan Health Insurance going down to the Anabra Enterprise around the Spintex Road and also around the Airwood and Accessories. There's a bit of traffic on that road this morning. There's also traffic on the there's also traffic around Prof Electricals on the Spintex Road. There's also a bit of traffic this morning on the Tema Akosombo Road from the box office down to Splendid Wall Finishing and also around Quality Beauty GH. So if you're using the Tema Akosombo Road this morning, kindly know that there's traffic on that road. There's also a bit of hold up on the Accra Flower Road this morning. From the Country Diesel Lab down to First Traffic Light, there's a bit of traffic on that road. There's also traffic on the Hacho Atomic Road this morning from Transition down to the MS Aden Event Center and also around Woodspoon, and it goes down to KFC. And there's also a bit of traffic this morning on the JJ Rawlings Avenue Road from the Edge Closet down to GAL's World and also around the Techro automobile service. And there's also a bit of hold up this morning on the Airport Bypass Road. So if you're using the Airport Bypass Road this morning, kindly know that there's a bit of traffic on that road this morning. There's also a bit of traffic on the Liberation Road around the Zone Grill. So if you're using the Liberation Road, you're going down to Zone Grill, know that there's traffic on that road. So that's it for the traffic situation in town. Now we'll take some stories from the aviation sector. Kenya Airways has made history by completing Africa's first intra-Africa flight powered by 50% sustainable aviation fuel, SAF. The flight took off from Nairobi to Cape Town as part of their SkyTeam Aviation Challenge promoting sustainability in aviation. The special fuel, made from used cooking oil and other waste materials, can reduce greenhouse and gas emission by up to 85% compared to the normal fuel jet. Now, Kenya Airways also used the flight to promote eco-friendly practices on board, including reusable cups, locally sourced beverages, and recycled materials to reduce waste. The airline says it is working with partners like IATA and the African Airlines Association to start producing sustainable aviation fuel in Kenya by 2026. Brussels Airlines is celebrating 10 years of flights between Belgium and Ghana. Since starting in 2015, the airline has become a key link, now offering daily flights between Brussels and Accra. The company's country manager for Ghana, Isel Adrian, thanked passengers and partners for their support over the past decade. The airline has also supported local community projects, including ecotourism in Ghana's Volta region. As part of the Luthenals Group, Brussels Airlines says it remains committed to expanding its connections across Africa. So that's all for transport today.
All right, thank you very much, Lois Samano, for bringing us transport today. Right about now, we're going to get into our market trend segment, and we'll take a quick music break. When we return, Emmanuel Boateng, our in-house economic analyst, will be joining me for today's conversation. Please don't go anywhere.
Come on! Action!
So if you've been praying and hoping and you've been wishing to step into your dream home, then Lakeside Estate offer is here to make that possible. Now, they have an exclusive offer for you, and with this offer, you can own your own house in just 2 years with no interest repayment. And this offer gives you affordable payments, flexible home purchase plan, quality homes, and lifestyle choice. And you get to choose from a variety of beautiful homes in any of Lakeside Hills clusters. Yes, so of course, your future awaits you. Just imagine living in a home you love with the freedom to invest in your dreams without the burden of interest. Well, as a TMG Real Estate Company of the Year, for the 4th time, we offer you hassle-free home acquisition. All you have to do is to call us today. The number to call is 020-477-5042, 020-477-5042, or 020-477-5040, 020-477-5040. Or you can also call on 050-1418-622, 050-1418-622. And don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call us now to learn more and schedule a tour of our available homes. Lakeside Estate, quality homes for all. Well, very soon we get into our market trend segment with our in-house economic analyst Emmanuel Boateng, and we're going to look at some projections that have been made in line with the next monetary policy committee meeting, and we'll look at how realistic that is and exactly what it means. But please continue enjoying this, and we will be right back. further to 19% by the end of the year, down from the 21.5%. Now, the forecast is based on certain things, and we're going to look at all of that now. But how realistic is this projection, and what would such a move actually mean for businesses, for investors, and for households? And that's exactly what we're talking about this morning. We're asking whether this rate could boost access to credit and lower the cost of borrowing, or might it risk reigniting some inflation and putting pressure on the Ghanaian cedi? Now, that's what we are looking at this morning with our in-house economic analyst, Iman Obuating, who joins me over the phone lines. Iman, good morning.
Good morning, you Trevi.
How are you doing, my brother?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing very well too, by God's grace.
We thank God.
Right. So, IC Research is projecting that policy rates could be cut down to 19%. How realistic is this forecast? I mean, in our current economic environment?
Thank you very much, and good morning to everyone listening to us this morning. Look, I think that projection is a bit more optimistic, but with a high level of caution. And if you ask me, I don't think it is out of reach. You see, we are seeing inflation currently at about 9.4%, which is the lowest we've had in about 4 years. That gives the Bank of Ghana, or the central bank, some breathing space. So if we see this downward trend continuing, or if the downward trend holds and the cedi stays reasonably stable, then yes, 19% by end of year is achievable. But here's the thing. We are still under an IMF program, and any fiscal slippage or external shock could actually derail the gains that we've made, and by extension, the path towards which IC Research makes this projection. So while it is possible, I think that it depends on whether we maintain the fiscal discipline and we are doing things the way we do them in a certain manner to warrant the outlook and the results that we are seeing. Otherwise, I don't think that it will be possible to have it cut to 19% by end of year.
So you're saying that it largely hinges on a continued macroeconomic stability, isn't it?
Precisely so.
But what key indicators are driving this projection, and do they align with Bank of Ghana's own outlook?
Well, the key drivers are pretty clear. I think that the sustained disinflation is one. Another is our strong reserve position and the relative currency stability. All these three play a key role in anchoring what we see. And the IC Research is looking at anchored inflation expectations and the fact that food prices have eased considerably. You know, these are classical conditions for monetary easing. I mean, as we do in the literature and, of course, in practice. Now, the Bank of Ghana hasn't put out an official target, but if you read between the lines in their recent statements, they are acknowledging the improvements and signaling caution in the economy to a very large extent. Not only are they signaling caution, but they are very optimistic even about the outlook of the economy. So directionally, yes, there is alignment, though the central bank might be more conservative on the timing, and perhaps explains why they haven't said that the end of year is going to be this percent. No, we only know that for inflation, but not for monetary policy rate.
I see. But does the current inflation, now we're doing 9.4%, does that trend create enough room for such an aggressive rate cut from 21 to 19%? 21.5 to 19% is quite aggressive. Creates that enough room for that?
Absolutely. And if, okay, I mean, this is very important. If the trend proves sustainable, then yes. You see, with inflation at 9.4% and the policy rate currently at 21.5%, we have a real interest rate of over 12% when you compare the two. That's extremely positive, which means there's room. Bank of Ghana would want to see inflation stable in single digits for several consecutive months before making deeper cuts. Because if you don't do that, I mean, things could reverse quickly. And especially when we are approaching the festive season, I mean Christmas. We know that during this season, prices, we've said it countless times, that while it approaches Christmas, maybe make sure you buy your things between now and November. Don't wait for December before you buy them. But we know a lot of the people are actually going to make their purchases in December.
Yeah.
And so typically, in December, we see very high inflation. So you would not want to cut interest rates at this point in time when you are not too sure, because this is the first single digit in about 4 years. When you are not too sure that is going to be sustained for a certain consecutive period of months. So that is very, very important. And I think that the central bank will also be watching global conditions, particularly what's happening with the United States interest rates, to avoid exchange rate pressure. Because as we know it, when interest rates in the United States go high, it has an impact on us. And when it goes low, it also has an impact on us. So you don't just cut your policy rate. You observe what is also happening with the bigger economy, particularly the United States and maybe in Europe.
I see. But how much would a reduction to 19% affect the lending rates and also access to credit here? 19%.
So precisely so. Anytime the monetary policy rate falls by 1%, the Ghana reference rate, which actually is tied to lending by the commercial bank, falls by 0.4%. So you see a 40% kind of relationship between the two. So anytime the policy rate falls by 1%, then you know that the cost of borrowing at the commercial bank is going to fall by some 0.4%. Well, a lower policy rate should reduce funding costs for banks, which will bring down lending rates. But we know that lending rate for the bank is not just based on monetary policy rate. That's not the only thing that they look at. And so because of that, there is a system, the Ghana reference rate, which is used as a benchmark in determining this. But we know that the monetary policy rate directly feeds into the Ghana reference rate, which becomes the bench against which commercial banks price loans that they give out or lend money to their customers. So that is the whole thing. And it's actually going to bring lending rates down. That one I can assure you, because once this is coming down, the lending rate will automatically come down from the 30% level at which it is now. And that will be very significant for SMEs, importantly for manufacturers as well, and businesses that often rely on affordable credit for their operations. You see, this is a very crucial point that I have to make. Monetary transmission in Ghana is often slow. Banks price in substantial risk premium for inflation volatility. They also consider currency risk and, as it were, the risk that those they lend money to are able to pay the money. So while a cut to 19% would help, I think the real impact on market lending rate might take time to show up. It doesn't happen automatically. The fact that policy rate has been cut by a certain percentage point doesn't mean that the next morning when you go to the bank, you are going to see, no, it doesn't happen that way. There's a certain lag effect.
Right.
Yeah, so it will take some time. It's not just automatic as we may think it is.
I see. Now, I'm wondering whether lowering this, lowering the rates too quickly could actually risk reigniting inflation in any way. And you have also pointed out that December we are likely to see inflation go up because of how our business is done during that period. Do you think that lowering the rates too quickly could actually risk reigniting the inflation or even weakening the cedi in any way?
Well, that's the key risk the central bank has to manage, actually. If they cut too fast, especially with December in view, then you could see demand pressures return and push inflation back up into double digits. So that is the real risk. And there is also the capital flow concern. Why am I saying that? You see, if our rate differential with global yield narrows, and if it narrows too much, then we could see outflows, which is going to put some pressure on the cedi. What is the expression on the cedi? There is depreciation of the cedi. We know that also has an importance, which is why very, very carefully, especially with respect to cutting down on the policy, they cannot afford to reverse the hard-won gains they have made in inflation control and currency confidence. No, they cannot afford to risk that. And that is why I believe that they are going to be very, very careful. But yes, the question you asked is an important question, and it's a key risk that the central bank is looking at before they take further action.
I see. Another thing that I'm curious about is how all of this is going to influence government borrowing and borrowing costs and also debt sustainability. How do you think this potential cut could do that?
Very important. A cut to 19% actually would lower yields on short-term government security, which directly reduces domestic borrowing costs for the government. That creates some fiscal space. In other words, money that could go towards social programs or infrastructure instead of using it to pay for debt, because you would have brought that price down. But here is where credibility matters. If those in the market, and I mean the market participants, if they perceive cuts as one, politically motivated rather than data-driven, one, too ambitious, rather than one that has considered the actuals on the ground, the main things that should be looked at, especially given that Christmas is approaching, spending may surge, and that may lead to inflation. Then we are going to see the investors actually demanding high-risk premiums, which would offset the savings. So communication and transparency are absolutely critical here, and that is exactly what the central bank should aim at doing.
So they should come quite clear. If this is actually going to happen, if this cut is going to take place, then they should
be clear on that and tell us why.
Okay.
Because for the investors, the why is important. The motivation behind which you are going to cut or increase interest rates is very important to the investor. Because that gives the investor a certain understanding as to whether or not the rate cut is sustainable.
Right.
Or is going to wipe away their savings in no time. And they are very, very interested. We are very, very interested in that. But if you are just cutting rates because of some other reasons, maybe a rate cut that is not backed by data, a rate cut that is not sustainable, then if I'm an investor, I'm safe keeping my money here.
Yeah.
I may have to look elsewhere.
Almost like
the winners are there. Manufacturing, agriculture, and maybe construction. These are the sectors that heavily rely on credit for the operations. And they are capital-intensive sectors, and they are sectors highly sensitive to financing costs. So lower interest rates mean they can now invest in equipment, they can now invest in inputs and expand, which also means they can now create some more jobs for the people of Ghana. And you would also see benefits in consumer-facing sectors like real estate, retail, rent. When I use real estate, I mean rent. Because once prices are coming down, and of course construction cost is coming down, then the expectation is that pricing in housing should come down. But I know that thing doesn't really come down either. But retail costs, services, real estate, these are areas that would also see some benefits as credit becomes more affordable. But I must also point out that import-dependent sectors might see smaller gains if the exchange rate comes under pressure following rate cuts, which is typically what happens. Once you cut the rate, demand surge, likely you are going to have your exchange rate come under pressure. And therefore, areas that are import sensitive may not see as much benefit as areas that are not as much heavy on import.
Right. So there's some good news coming for people in manufacturing, agriculture, and construction, right?
Yes.
And you're saying that those who focus on imports will not see anything really huge, isn't it?
Exactly.
I see. But how might investors interpret this projected move in terms of the confidence in our stability as a country currently?
Well, you see, if you do this thing right, gradually and maybe with clear communication, then investors will see it as macroeconomic normalization. I mean, oh, in Yamakuye, things are getting better. I mean, this time around, yes, the Lord is on the throne, but the handlers of the economy are also doing things right. I mean, that's the signal it sends to them. And the investors will see that, see, this is a clear signal that the Bank Ghana is confident that inflation is under control and that Ghana's policy environment is gradually stabilizing. And that is positive for market sentiment and investor confidence in the Ghanaian economy, which is very, very key, very, very quintessential for all of us. But you see, you need to be context is everything. If the rate cut seems premature or politically motivated, especially given the side of the equator we are on as a country, then you would see questions about policy independence as to whether or not the central bank is indeed politically free to be able to make decisions on their own without any influence from the side of the government, which is very, very central for investors. And the central bank has to anchor expectations through data-driven communication. So yes, tell us rate cut. You are cutting the rate to 19%. But tell us why. What is the reason? And when we as investors read between the lines, we should not see that the reasons are geared more towards scoring political points rather than one that is based on strict data premised on the fundamentals of the economy as we have it. Because once you tell us that, see, this thing, I mean, it's just to score political points and all of that, then we know where the boat is sailing to, and then we would advise ourselves. Right. But once it is backed by data, which is what we have seen over time, then investors would trust in the way the economy is going. And I mean, exactly what we've seen throughout the year.
I see. Right, but if what if the Bank of Ghana decides to say, I mean, hold off on cutting the rates? We're seeing improved inflation and all of that. What message will that send?
I think that the number of things come to play here, and there was a reason why I giggled a bit, because a lot of messages are actually sent in this Ghanaian economy, especially for many people who do not really look at the right thing. You know, sometimes people's judgments are based on what the political class are saying, and not really what analysts who are objective in their analysis are really putting across. And so many things come out. But you see, a conscious stance would actually send a message that the central bank is prioritizing long stability over stability. And that's from an objective point of view. See, it is going to reinforce inflation fighting stability, especially if there are lingering global risks or concerns about fiscal discipline. That is the clear signal that we are going to see. And businesses might be disappointed, yes, but long-term investors typically appreciate prudence. By prudence, I'm just saying that, see, why would you overestimate yourself rather than making provision for all possible losses?
Right.
And if we know the end, like anyone who overestimates himself, we know how things will end for them.
Yeah.
Because once you're overestimating yourself, then it's not a true picture of what things to be. You see, and that is why for us we think it's key. Prudence is very, very important, because once you have been prudent, then we can trust in you. In any way, overestimating yourself is just you just trying to tell you that you are what you are not, by and large. And I don't think that is what we want yet. So yes, the businesses may be disappointed, but in the long term, investors will typically appreciate government for being prudent. And that in itself prevents a certain level of speculative pressure on the city and strengthens the overall policy framework that the government has been working with. See, it can be sometimes patience is the right move. It's not all the time that you have to rush. This applies to life. There are times where you may be seeing the signals moving in the right direction, but a little bit of patience will put you somewhere. And like they say, patience is a good virtue, and to be prudent will be rewarded in the future.
Okay, I know you have to go because you have other things to attend to this morning. Maybe my final question to you would: so what balance should the Bank of Ghana strike between supporting growth and also maintaining stability going into 2026?
Yeah, I think the answer lies more in being measured or cutting down interest rates or monetary policy. You see, the central bank should actually lower the rates gradually. And they should do that in step with sustained inflation decline. The operative word I use is sustain, not just inflation declines or disinflation, but sustained one. Yes, we've seen disinflation, but this is the first single digit we've seen, and we know how December particularly looks like in this country. Spending increases. I am in no way saying that you are going to get a lot of money and therefore you are going to buy a lot of things. No. I am looking at the economy at the aggregate level. So I'm looking at aggregate demand. Aggregate demand is going to go up. Once aggregate demand go up, it will be accompanied by price increase on the aggregate level. So maybe at your micro level, you may not necessarily see that. Of course, we know that in December, and there are things you've not done that you would wish to do. A lot more people put a lot of their spending to December. And visiting places, touring around, buying more things. I mean, why are organizations paying bonuses in December? People are receiving 13th month pay because the organizations in themselves understand how important the festive season is and the need to motivate your employees with a 13th month pay. Very, very crucial. What are you going to do to that? Either you save it or you spend it. And most of the time, given our track record, we are heavy on spending than on investment. So that is what we are going to see. You see? So the goal isn't just to lower the interest rate. It is sustainable lower rates that support credit growth without undermining currency confidence or reversing disinflation. And that requires a data-driven, forward-looking approach that anchors and nurtures business confidence. See, the 19% projection is achievable, but only if we maintain the discipline and coordination that got us here. We cannot afford to squander the progress we have made in just one policy cut or in just one rate cut. Yeah.
Right. So essentially, the Bank of Ghana should be very cautious. All right. Thank you very much for with us this morning. I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, thank you very much too for having me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So that was Emmanuel Boateng. Boateng is our in-house economic analyst, and he was sharing with us his thoughts on the projection that IC Research has made. Now, IC Research says that there's a likelihood that the monetary policy rate will be cut down to about 19%. Currently, is around 21.5. He says that they are saying that it's most likely going to come down to 19%. But Emmanuel says that we should be very careful. It's actually very optimistic, but not implausible, and so we need to be very careful. Yeah, and he says that if it actually happens, the sectors that are going to benefit will be manufacturing, agriculture, and construction. So that is also some good news for people in that sector. If the policy rate is cut down, I know that MPC will be meeting early next month, and then we can get to see whether this will be cut or not. If you missed any part of this conversation, please feel free to visit our platforms or our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH, and also YouTube at Z Multimedia. You may want to visit these platforms and then play it back. All right. So yeah, the show continues. We're almost getting into our roundtable discussion, and we're looking at breast cancer and how your nutrition, your food, your diet, your lifestyle actually affects you in that particular space. And I think that's a very good conversation you don't want to miss, because your health is your wealth. You cannot do your business, you cannot go about your daily life, you cannot do all the amazing things you're doing if your health is failing. And so a man of God once said that if you see a dying man on a sick bed, there's only one thing they ask for. It's not money, it's not their businesses, they look for life. and it is your health is able to keep you in in life. So please don't go anywhere. We'll talk about this one. It's a very important one, and you don't want to miss. You can share the link with family and friends on Facebook at ZFMGH and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. You can also join a conversation. Send us your questions, comments, and suggestions at on 054432 1019 054432 1019. You can send us a WhatsApp and we'll read your messages for you. We'll take a quick music break, and then when we return, my guest will join me for our roundtable discussion this morning. Please. Now, this morning we get into our roundtable discussion, and we're talking about something important as always. Now, October, as we know it, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and today is the 30th. It means that we have just one more day to end the awareness. But this month, everywhere you pass, you see pink. Everybody is wearing pink. Not everybody, but most people are wearing pink, making a lot of noise about breast cancer. But beyond the walks, beyond the screenings and the campaigns, there's another part of this conversation we don't talk about enough, and it's actually the role of the role our daily lifestyle and diet actually play in preventing breast cancer. Because we've had conversations on how you can develop breast cancer and all of these things, how you can deal with that. But one part that we don't talk about enough is how our lifestyle and our diet actually play a role in preventing breast cancer. And so today we're diving into that, what we eat, how we live, and even the little habits we overlook can either protect us or put us at risk. And my guest this morning is a dietitian. He's a registered licensed dietitian at the Valley View Hospital. His name is Julius Sama, or Sama. I'm not too sure if that is a pronunciation. And he joins me this morning for this conversation. And we're unpacking how nutrition, exercise, healthy living, and all of these things can actually make a big difference, not just for women, but for all of us. Julius, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing great. How are you too?
Yeah, I'm doing very good too myself. Thank you so much for making time to join us this morning.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here too.
All right, great. Okay, so let's get into our conversation this morning. Now, we all know October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and people wear pink. We do all kinds of things pink, and I want us to start a conversation from here. Why is it important to actually connect nutrition and lifestyle with breast cancer awareness?
Great. Thank you so much, Nee, and thank you for your team for the opportunity. Definitely, I know some listeners are out there, so I also want to say good morning to them for being on the call this morning and also to get educated. All right, so Nee, you remember last month was prostate cancer, right?
Yeah.
But when it got to prostate cancer month, the whole publicity was a bit low. And then, but when we get to pink October, that's when you see people, in their pink. You see corporate bodies even organizing programs, education. All right. So the pink education is just to actually project the prevalence, and then also to educate and create awareness about breast cancer. Now, the creation of awareness is not only for those who have breast cancer, but also for the general public, helping them stay away from lifestyle factors that can predispose them to breast cancer. So that's what the whole October is about. October has been picked for it. And so the awareness is more in October, but then that doesn't mean breast cancer education is only limited to October. It can happen in January down to December. Just that October is picked to actually create the awareness, and we are glad we are here now to give something to our listeners.
Great. So I'm asking that, why is it important to actually connect nutrition? You are a dietitian, so yes. Why is it important to connect nutrition and lifestyle with breast cancer awareness?
Good. So day in, day out, we nourish ourselves with food. Unlike the way we fuel our cars with fuel like diesel, petrol, we fuel ourselves with food. And this food goes into the body to nourish the body. That's giving it energy, helping the body develop when it comes to muscle and other organs, also bringing the vitamins and minerals to the body. Now, that same ingredient or that same nutrient that nourishes the body, if you were to find any disease in the body, it still nourishes the disease too. So anytime you are feeding, either you are fighting the disease or you are feeding the disease. So if there's any disease condition in your body and you are feeding yourself, some amount of nutrient goes to it. So this is why it's very important for us to check breast cancer and then know whether we have it or not whilst we are feeding. Now, some eating habits can also predispose us to the risk for breast cancer, and which I'm sure we are going to delve in. Yeah, so in short, your eating habits can put you at risk for breast cancer. That's why it's very important we link these two.
How exactly does that happen? How exactly does what we eat influence our risk of developing breast cancer?
Good. So there are certain hormones that influence our lifestyle. So say how we feel, our mood, and others. So that's the estrogen and progesterone. Okay. Now, whilst you are engaging your daily lifestyles, we have some of the lifestyle that predispose you to breast cancer, and we call those the modifiable ones. So modifiable means this lifestyle you can do something about it, or you can put yourself at risk for it, right? Let's take you taking a lot of fat. So there are people that from morning to evening, whatever they are eating, it's
hello.
Just to mention names of some of the food you are eating, and your food is made of fried rice, fried chicken. The only thing on your table is not fried.
Hello.
Intake of fat can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Just that the line was breaking.
All right. So that excess intake of fats is dietary habit that can put you at risk for breast cancer. Now, one risk factor is also obesity
hello,
or being overweight. Now, being overweight means you having your weight higher than your height can handle, or your weight doesn't match your height. So we have categories for BMI. Now, your eating habits can take you out of a normal BMI, putting you at risk for breast cancer, because excess weight or obesity also have influence in this hormone, which is the
hello, Julius. Hello. All right. So the network is not helping, so we will try and reconnect Julius, and then we can continue the conversation. Yes, but of course, the first thing he said is that what you eat actually affects your affects your body generally, and also whether you're going to whether you're going to develop some kind of risk, or maybe basically what he's saying is that what we eat actually hello Julius. Hello, Julius.
Yes. Hello.
All right. So we'll try and reconnect you, and then we can continue the conversation. I hope that is okay. So we'll try and just get in touch with you because the network is breaking. So let's see if we can have a better network, and then we continue the conversation.
Okay, Dave.
All right. Okay. All right. So yeah. So basically, what Julius was saying is that what we eat can actually influence our risk of developing cancers generally, and also even, more specifically breast cancer. So we have to be very careful. So I'm going to ask him the kind of specific foods and all of that very soon. So he tells us which ones actually puts us at risk and which ones do not. So we'll get into that part of the conversation very soon. But we'll bring Julius back shortly for that. Please stay tuned.
Are you here with me? Awakaita saje su hakuna wakaita saje, hey, hakuna wakaita saje su haku china. Everybody say hakuna wakaita saje, hey, hakuna wakaita saje, hakuna wakaita saje, haku china. Hakuna wakaita saje su, hakuna wakaita saje, hey, hakuna wakaita saje su, Haku, Haku, China. Everybody say, now I kind of suggest. Now I kind of suggest. Now I kind of suggest. Are you ready for this? Quese, quese, la tenderera, quese, quese, la trava, trava, quese, quese, acu, acu, chinama, quese, quese, la tenderera, quese, quese, la trava, trava, quese, quese, acu, acu, now let's take it again. Hakuna wakai, tasa Jesu. Hakuna wakai tasa Jesu. Hakuna wakai tasa Jesu. Hey! Haku, haku, everybody up is there. Hakuna wakai tasa Jesu. Hakuna wakai tasa Jesu. Hakuna wakai tasa Jesu. Haku, haku,
All right, welcome back to the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. We have Julius back on the lines, and so we'll continue our conversation. Julius, are you with me now?
Yes, I'm here. I'm sure you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. All right. So, you were trying to tell us how exactly what we eat influences our risk of developing cancers, especially breast cancer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'll take that again. So I was letting us know that just as before, our body with food, which nourishes us, when it comes to giving us energy, building the body, and developing the body, it's important that as you are fueling your body and you are feeding the body, if there's any disease in the body, they also feed on those nutrition or that nourishment, right? So that means if there's a disease condition in the body and you're eating and it's not healthy, or it's healthy, still the nutrition goes to the disease organism as well. So now what I'm saying is that some intake like excess fat intake, right, or excess saturated fat intake can put you at risk for breast cancer. Why am I saying that? Because when you have a lot of fat intake from your food, it can go a long way to affect your BMI. And BMI basically means your body mass index, which is the calculation that takes reading of your weight against your weight. Because per everybody's height, you need some specific weight range. Now, if you are to see that the intake or your weight has put you to a higher BMI, that's a risk factor for breast cancer, right? And at that moment, it can affect how the estrogen and progesterone react to your body. Now, so we tried hard or very well to make sure we get people back into their weight range so that they will fall out of the obesity or overweight range to being within range. Another dietary habit that can put people at risk is excess or excessive alcohol intake, right? Now, people enjoy alcohol for different reasons. Some people enjoy alcohol if they are happy, and some people enjoy it when they are sad or they are going through a lot. But in its way, it's not healthy for the body because alcohol has no calories, no nutrients, empty calories, and alcohol doesn't help the body's metabolism. It actually affects and weakens the body's muscle. And you know, when it comes to breast cancer, is the tissues reacting against each other.
Yeah.
So alcohol intake has tendency of causing that. Then smoking is also a dietary factor whereby a lot of people are found smoking and they tell you, oh, I don't smoke. But if you stay around somebody who smokes, you are a secondary smoker. And smoking can also increase the risk for breast cancer, and then including other diseases as well. So those dietary habits can put you at risk for it.
I see. So is it the overall, so for the food part, is it the overall eating patterns, or does that also count? Because you talked about fatty foods. Does that also count, the eating pattern really, and the balance?
Good. So everybody says they want to eat a balanced diet, right? So when it comes to the diet part, it's not generally just the food, but then it takes into consideration what goes into the food, the quality of the food. Right? So quality of the food means when it comes to protein, carbohydrates, and fat or what portions are you doing? Okay, so having balance, or let me just speak about the balanced plate. Right, so for you to have a balanced meal or balanced plate, we encourage you to have about 40 to 50% of the plate coming from vegetables and fruits, whereby you can give half of the other percentages, like 25 to 30% to carbohydrates and another 25 to 30% to protein. Then you know that you are not relying on one part of the nutrients. Unlike people who go for carbohydrates being like 90% of the plate, and then some people don't even have protein, some people don't even have vegetables. So the quality of the food, which is you having a balance or adequate nutrients on the food, also is one. The second one is timing, meal timing, right? Now, meal timing, based on your schedule, you can have your breakfast or your first meal first 2 hours after you are up or you are awake, all right? So that it can fuel the body to start the day. Now, based on your schedule and based on the quantity of food you had for your first meal, you can decide to have a second meal as well, and then you have your third meal. Now, the third meal usually it comes at the late part of the day, and then people decide to have it very close to bedtime, which is not healthy because the digestion process takes some time, whereby the digestion takes place, and then being mobile or moving around also helps enhance digestion. So if you have to take your last meal and just stay put at one side or sit somewhere calm without engaging in any activity, it slows down the metabolism, which is the digestion and absorption. So just by having a late meal alone doesn't make it healthy for your body, right? So that's the second one, being the meal timing. Then the third one, so I spoke about quality. The third one is also portion control, right? Portion control, so that you wouldn't have to, have a lot of one type of food on your plate. Okay, so portion control comes in based on your body mass index and also based on your resting metabolism. These are a bit technical terms whereby we now delve into it. So if you want to make good quality of food, good timing and portion control, you might as well want to meet a dietitian to guide you through. But then it's good to know that the balancing of the food, the timing of the food, the portion also plays a huge role when it comes to having entire healthy intake.
I see. But do you think people in Ghana actually pay enough attention to their daily meals? And I mean, the portion and things you're talking about. Do you think that we do that?
Okay, so the concern is on both ways. So at one is that I'm not too convinced people do that. A lot of people don't do that. All right, and even those who want to do it for a specific period of time and they are done. I'm sure there are months that you pick that you want to exercise and you do it for some few days and you are done. There are months that people pick that, I want to eat healthy, and they just do it for like 1 month, 2 months, and they are out of it. They are back to their previous way. So it's something that we don't really stay consistent to, right? And I won't blame people too much because our economic factor to play a role. Somebody who is trying to make ends meet would want to just have a quick breakfast. So probably the person will want to go for cocoa this morning, and if God permit, the person can get some bread on the side. That's like carbohydrates from the cocoa and then carbohydrates from the bread, right? So telling this person, have one boiled egg and some groundnut relief to bring some protein will be too much for the person's budget for the day. So economic status also plays a role. But then we are also not too proactive when it comes to our health. Okay. Those from the Western side are a bit proactive when it comes to their health. They are able to control portions. They are able to select more of the vegetables and the greens on their food, right? But here, it's either the person is being cared by their disease condition, whereby they tell them, you have diabetes, you have hypertension, or you are very close to having breast cancer. that's when the person is going to, try and put in all their effort to get it done.
Yeah.
But aside that, we live by the means, and until we have a problem, we change. So we don't really practicalize it that much in Africa, and therefore the matter Ghana.
I see. But what is one misconception you think actually keeps people from taking prevention? Because you from what you said, it looks like we focus more. We are more reactive than proactive when it comes to our health. What is one misconception you think actually keeps people from taking their prevention serious?
Okay, so African Ghanaians basically believe that if the thing doesn't prevent me from moving, I can manage it till I'm ready. Right? So if the thing doesn't prevent them from going through their daily activities, they are okay. They can manage it till it becomes better. You understand? So we now previously we don't have the education, like a lot of education on this.
Yeah.
But currently there are a lot of education there on social media, in the world. Now people have health professionals in their homes. If it's not a nurse, a doctor, a pharmacist, you definitely have somebody connected around. So we get this education on the radio, people. So now it's past education. Now we are getting the education, right? Now it's done on us. It's becoming on us to be able to be proactive about it. You have the education now. This can do it, but some people tell you African stomach is manageable. So like I said, if the thing doesn't prevent an African from engaging in their daily activities, they don't see it. Now, one problem of doing or going according to that way of life is that when you are ready now to pay attention to it, it gets to the end stage or latter stage. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So management wouldn't be that efficient, all right? So imagine let's take your sugars going high from time to time, and they keep telling you, manage your diet. Too much of the carbohydrates is being, having effect on your food. Have changed this lifestyle, and the person is not changing it until the person now has high sugars for a longer period. Then the person starts coming for management. At that point, prevention becomes very, very difficult. Curing becomes very, very difficult. We can only manage, right? And then they'll be on the medication from time to time. So that's just an example. So we always present the condition at a late stage, and then at that point, reversal becomes very difficult, and all we need to help you with it by managing it. So the problem is about us changing, because now the education is there. And the professionals are there too now. I'm sure if you count 5 hospitals, you get 2 hospitals with dietitians. So the education is there, professionals are there, but how do you go about it yourself? That's how it is.
Discipline is also important.
Yes, yes, a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now many people actually think. I mean, you are telling us today that your food, I mean, the things you're eating, actually poses a certain risk. Gives you that. I mean, creates that room for you to get some cancers and all of that. Now, but many people think breast cancer is purely genetic. That if it doesn't run in your family, then you are safe. How true is that?
All right. So, if breast cancer doesn't run in your family, you are not entirely safe. All right. So, there are a lot of factors, and for the non-modifiable ones, the one you can't do anything about, genetic or family history is just one out of them. All right. And there are people who are even having the family history and do not have breast cancer. You get that part too. So family history and genetic is not entirely the risk factor. There are other risk factors too, right? If you permit me to touch on some of them.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, like being a female, it's a risk factor. And that's a non-modifiable risk factor. Being a female. Why is being a female a risk factor? Because females have, unlike males, females have the exposure to the hormones that I'm talking about. That's the estrogen and progesterone. Now, early menarche, which is having your menstruation at an early stage, without before 12 years, that's maybe 11, 10, 9. Early menarche also predispose you, because at that point, maybe you are speaking to or somebody is checking at age 25. So if you are having your menstruation from 12 or let's say 10, that means you are having 15 years of exposure to this estrogen and progesterone, and this is also a risk factor, right? So early menarche is a risk factor. Then age is also a risk factor, right? So it's shown that 40 to around 49 are the peak ages, but currently research is also showing that people are getting it as early as 20, 25. Yesterday, I heard a survivor saying she detected her at 30. So age is also a factor, which is not related to family history, right? And also past history of other cancers. So probably you have a past history of ovarian cancer, lung cancer, or any other cancer. Then you are at risk for breast cancer too, because cancer spreads through the body. So probably if it's in the lung, you might realize that it has spread to the breast as well. So previous cancer also. Then exposure to radiation. I'm not sure this is also related to family history. So having, previous exposure to radiation, right? So for radiation therapy, we needed some amount. So even those who work at the radiographic department have machines that they use to check how much of the radiation they are having into their body, and there are limits to it, right? But finding yourself in work or finding yourself in areas where you have a lot of exposure to radiation can also put you at risk. So these are other risk factors that are not really family history and genetic related, but they can also put you at risk for breast cancer.
I see. That is very enlightening. But so would you say? I mean, would you say that lifestyle factors, weigh more heavily than genes for most people?
I would say yes. We have most of the lifestyle factors being as in the major or being a pivotal part of the risk factors, right? Compared to even the family history. We are not denying the family history and genetic is one of the risk factors, but the lifestyle factors can put you closer to the risk than even the family history, right? Let's take this lifestyle. So lifestyle factors is not only about food, but let's take a lifestyle factor like knowledge parity, right? Somebody who is in the age of giving birth, and at that moment, the exposure becomes more. From a younger age, you are menstruating, the exposure to the hormones, which is the estrogen and progesterone, keeps increasing, right? So when you are growing and you are not having a child, that means the exposure becomes high, because during pregnancy and during exclusive breastfeeding, the menstruation stops, and then that exposure reduces. So that's like a way of helping you stay away from the hormones a bit. So having a child for a longer time helps or causes the exposure to increase more or to be more, and that can put you at risk. So that's a lifestyle factor, right? Compared to increased parity, whereby somebody has a lot of children, that person is likely to stay away from these hormones for a longer time. Okay. Another one is breastfeeding, right? There are people after delivering, they don't really have time to breastfeed their children, right? And that's also a lifestyle factor, because breastfeeding is a natural way of staying away from these hormones and then helping you to reduce the risk for getting breast cancer. So somebody who voluntarily says, "Oh, time to breastfeed," or the child is in a different country, I'm here, I have to go to work. All these are lifestyle factors, and this can put you at risk for breast cancer, right? Then other lifestyle factors like the food part, as I already spoke about it, exercise, some weight, maybe in 2 weeks, right? So that factor depends on you. It's a lifestyle factor. You've seen your weight increase. You've seen your sedentary lifestyle. You realize you don't even walk 10 minutes a day. it's from the house to the car to the office, seated, and back to the right. So that lifestyle factor can also put you at risk. So these are things that we can change. They are modifiable, and when you are able to work on them, you'll be able to reduce the risk for breast cancer.
I see. So for those with family history, can good nutrition and lifestyle still lower their risks?
Okay, yes. So definitely good nutrition, healthy lifestyle can help you manage it. In fact, that's what we will preach. If you have a family history of breast cancer, aside you being careful about your early menarche, your childbirth, and others, yes, good nutrition should play a role, right? A lot of meat doesn't spoil the soup, you know. So having healthy lifestyle and also, guiding yourself through the family history pattern of it is good. Now, when it comes to the family history of it, all we want you to do is consistently check so that we can, even when it starts to come, we will be able to see it at stage 1, not stage 4. And that has been a rising concern in Africa, right? So Africans present breast cancer either at the late stage, either stage 3 or stage 4. And at that point, just a little can be done, right? Unlike the Western world that they check it regularly. The survivors, some of them will tell you, oh, mine was treated stage 1, stage 2. But Africans, excuse me to say, even if they realize anything like that, they will want to go for spiritual, age first, and the medical part become the last one. When, people have problems with their breast entirely before they will come to the hospital, but they want to go for other spiritual healing, which, at the end put them at risk. So yes, if you have a family history, you should take your lifestyle very serious, even compared to somebody who doesn't have the family history.
All right. Okay. Let me just announce the phone lines just in case somebody's listening to us and they want to join the conversation. So exactly 20 minutes after 9, this is a business breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nitrebi Hammond. And this morning we're talking about breast cancer, but we're looking at it in terms of our nutrition, lifestyle, and also awareness proper. And my guest is Julius Sharma, and he is Sama, right? And he is registered licensed dietitian, and he's joining me in this. He's having this conversation with me. If you want to join the conversation, feel free to send us a WhatsApp on 0544321019, 0544321019. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please drop a comment on any of the posts if you want to join a conversation, and we'll read your messages for you. All right, Julius, let's continue the conversation. Now, there's a lot of hype, around anti-cancer foods. We hear things like green tea, beetroot, turmeric, and all of that. How are these claims true? I mean, how true are these claims really?
Okay. So the, in quotes, anti-cancer food that we get being projected every time are just a way of letting you know that you should eat healthy. That's all, right? So let's say, for instance, somebody who wants to lose weight, and weight loss or weight gain is also a risk factor, right? Who wants to lose weight? If you tell the person, oh, eat healthy, the person wouldn't really want to take you serious. Like you tell the person, take this tea, but there are rules to the tea. When you take this tea, you don't eat fried eggs, you don't eat fried meat. When you take this tea, you control this portion, you don't eat this amount. So just by taking the tea, the person will be able to comply to the rules, right? So that's how the anti-cancer foods are. They're just a way of projecting healthy intake, bringing balance to the food, prioritizing antioxidants. And antioxidants are from natural spices, fruits, vegetables. These foods have antioxidants, and antioxidants play a role in fighting or helping the immunity or fighting any disease organism in the body. So having these teas are very rich in antioxidants. Black pepper, cloves. You know cloves, right?
Cloves, yeah.
Right. These ingredients are very rich in antioxidants. And when of things. You know, the recipe was a lot during COVID. That idea is just to build immunity. Because at that point, we are realizing that people who are healthy, when they come across the virus, they don't even survive it. So at that point, all we're doing is to help our immunity. And building your immunity helps to fight any disease so that it into your body, including cancer. Right? So the helping of the anti-cancer food is just for you to have a lot of antioxidants into your body so that you can fight this. So they'll tell you, have a balanced diet, more grains, stay away from red meat, do a bit of other protein. You know, we concentrate too much on only the plant-based, animal-based protein, and we ignore plant-based proteins. And we have a lot of plant-based proteins, right? When it comes to the soya beans, soya chunks, they are there. So if somebody wants to, start preventing cancer and tell the person, stay away from meat a while, do more of fish, do grilled instead of fried, do fresh instead of fried, and the person starts doing according to it. That's just a way of now shifting you consciously to start a healthy eating pattern. You get it?
Yeah.
Because all we want you to do is to get a lot of the nutrients when it comes to the antioxidants, having balance, having portion control. Realize? So they'll tell you, all right, when you are taking in turmeric tea, don't do bread. And the person tells you, yes, I'm taking turmeric tea and I'm not doing bread anymore because I'm taking anti-cancer food. But normally, if you have to tell you to even go for whole wheat bread or even cut down on the bread and do other sources of carbohydrates, you really want to do it. But because it's anti-cancer, we have, so it's a way of projecting. Most of the marketers are getting people on it, and they're just trying to help you stay healthy by changing your lifestyle. Like I say, the discipline is not there, so they have to do things that will bring the discipline into you. That's by carrying you with some of the rules around the product. But these are just all the eating patterns.
Right, just so that you can build immunity. I think I get that now. So, are there instances where people even still take these things and still suffer the cancers?
Oh yes. So there are instances. That's because you can pick a day to resolve a disease condition if you've actually been working towards or working against when you are young. You understand?
Yeah.
So somebody who wants to, so let's say a risk factor for cancer is weight, having excess weight. And so you've been able to pile this up from, let's say, 18 years, so you are 35, and you want to use 2 weeks to lose this weight. You see, so being realistic wouldn't really help.
Yeah.
Or you've been eating unhealthy. You are somebody, Friday night, you don't stay, Saturday, you don't even give a chance. You are all in there. The alcohol is going on. You are just chilling up and down. You don't worry about radiation, or you have family history, but you're just pushing through. And just by, having a great education and assessment, you'll be like, okay, now I'm starting anti-cancer food right away. This morning I'm starting. And you want to get results, let's say, quickly. By next week, you want the whole symptoms of the cancer to vanish. I'm not sure it's going to happen like that, right? So, like, still talking about late stage. Probably by the time they check your, stage of cancer, you're on stage 3 or stage 4. It becomes very difficult to manage. So even if you do that, the cancer food morning, afternoon, evening, at that point, the management wouldn't be as effective as somebody who has done it preventively. So doing it is right, but you have to do it preventively. Even though if you have it, it will manage it, but like it's management.
Okay.
Right? And so, yes, you can help you to manage it by the food, but then at a particular stage, you can help yourself if you do it early as a prevention. Right? So prevention is better than
better. Yeah. While we are still talking about prevention, what specific foods or maybe I mean, I think you've already spoken about dietary patterns and some of these things, but what specific foods? I want you to be quite specific. If you can even give examples in our local Ghanaian context, I'll be very grateful. Which ones have been shown to reduce the risk of breast cancer?
Good. So, like I said, it's more of the balance, right? So, more of the balance is having the nutrients, okay? So, let's take, for instance, so for your preaching healthy balanced meal, right? So I'll touch on some of the foods. So let's take Hausa cocoa, for instance. Now, if you look at the preparation of Hausa cocoa, the fiber is taken out as part of the preparation method, right? Good. But in this case, for us to have healthy meal, we want you to have whole carbohydrates, foods that have fiber in them. So let's say you're having the Hausa cocoa with white bread and let's say margarine. Okay, at that point, I wouldn't guarantee a balance there because Hausa cocoa carbohydrate rich, it's refined, and then you don't have fiber in there. The bread, on the other hand, is also carbohydrate refined, right? Then you have your fat, which is your spread, in there. So we don't have the proteins in there. We don't have the balance from the let's say the fiber in there. We don't even have protein in there. We don't have vegetables in there. So just by having that meal, you realize that you don't need the balance. And you do it the next day, and become so consistent. So you realize that you don't have the nutrients that are needed in there. I already spoke about antioxidants, right? So it's very important to know that if you don't have fruit on your meal, you are not eating 100% of your meal, right? Fruit makes your food 100%, right? And fruits are very rich in antioxidants. Likewise, the vegetables. So having some vegetables on your plate, which is let's say 40 to 50% of it coming from vegetables, and then also having that fruits and vegetables, and also having some of the fruits in addition, in a way, gives a lot of vegetables to the food, right? Gives a lot of fruits to the food, and that increases your intake of antioxidants. When you have such a meal, you realize that you are helping the body with a lot of foods that are going to help your body compared to not having them at all. Let's take somebody who is going for wate. Wate is one of my favorite foods. So you want to go for wate, and let's say currently, if you check the wate joint, realize that the beans in the wate, you can even count it all. You can even count the beans. So the rice is like 80%, and the beans is like 10 or 20% of it. So you realize it's full of rice. Okay, then you have that wate with gari, another carbohydrate. Then you tell the person to give you macaroni or spaghetti. You add to it, and that's also another carbohydrate. So even your first three choices are full of carbohydrates. Then maybe you add eggs, which is a good source of protein. And you said, okay, for me, I don't like you. I like shito. It might be shito with gray. Then they add a lot of shito to it for you, which is also full of saturated fat, because most of these people fry whatever they want to fry and use the oil preparing the shito. So it becomes trans fat and saturated fat. So just by enjoying that meal, you'll be like, oh, I'm enjoying a full meal, healthy. But the way I broke it down for you, you realize that the ingredients is one way.
Yeah.
The balance is not coming in there. The protein is just the egg. You don't have some vegetables in there. So antioxidants from fruit and vegetables shouldn't be there. So imagine you're eating wache continuously for 1 week. So you are staying away from this antioxidant 1 week. You understand?
Yeah.
You don't even have small teas that contain this turmeric, this cinnamon. We don't even use. And then one pandemic is people who don't use spices in their food preparation.
You don't use what?
Natural spices.
Natural. Okay, right.
Natural spices are very rich in this antioxidant. Having your pepper, having your garlic, ginger, onion. These are natural spices that you can use for your meal preparation, right? But because you want it to be quick, you want to use artificial ones, the ones that are made in packs, the ones that are made in spices. And this one, the preservation has a lot of sodium in it or salt in it, okay? So these are the things, the lifestyle factors that put us at risk. And it's a daily thing. It's a daily thing, right? You do it every day and it piles up. So the change can happen with these ingredients in your food. And all you need to do is that whatever you are going to eat, ask yourself, do I have some carbohydrates in there? Do I have some proteins in there? Do I have some vegetables in there? How quick can I get fruits? You know, some people finish eating before they go search for fruit. And if they don't get it, they are not worried. Do you get it? Imagine somebody is served, let's say, soup with fish and without banku. The person will ask the one who said, "Where's my banku?" Because we want the banku.
Yeah.
But when the person is served banku soup, fish without fruit, let's say orange, banana, pineapple, the person is okay. They don't even ask about
That's true.
it, right? That's because we consciously don't value the nutrients you are getting from those. And the person can say, okay, let me finish and go and get fruit. And when you go to where you want to get a fruit and you don't see the fruit vendor, they're not worried. But if they serve you soup and fish without banku or fufu or kenke, you fight that thing.
Yeah.
Because we are concentrating on the carbohydrate part of it. You get it?
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. It's good for the body, actually. But then have a balance of it. The fruit should be in. The vegetables should be in, right? I met someone who says, I can't chew vegetables. If you can't chew, then blend it and add it to your stew or your soup. It's the ingredients that I want for you.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are people who say, okay, I can't take it that's fresh. I want to stir fry it. Fine, stir fry it so that we can get it, all right? So that we not overcook. And then some of the cooking practices can also denature these vegetables, all right? Some cooking practices. So let's say okra soup, right? You are supposed to, prepare the okra, which is a vegetable, for like 5 to 10 minutes. The okra should be okay, so that you don't have to overcook it to denature the nutrients in it. Most of the nutrients in the vegetables are water-soluble vitamins, right? So water-soluble vitamins need water to thrive. So imagine you're having a lot of oil in preparing your okra soup or okra stew. You see that you don't bring out the nutrients in it because it's not water-soluble. At that part of the day or whilst you are cooking, you have a lot of oil in it.
Yeah.
Okay? And putting the protein together with the food. So let me use the okra soup again. You are preparing okra soup. You have meat in the soup. You have fish in the soup. You have wele. Now, by the time the wele gets softened, the soup would have been prepared for like 30 to 40 minutes. You get it? And that would have natured the nutrients in the vegetables, either the garden egg, the okra, all those nutrients would have been natured. Right?
Wow.
So we encourage that you prepare the grains different, that the okra, the garden egg, prepare them different, and then you prepare a stew of your protein. Then when you are going to serve, you add to it. That would be very good. And then you don't always have to do stew. When it comes to stew like nkontombe stew, you don't always have to use, put it on fire. You can cook the nkontombe for like 5 to 10 minutes, with just little water to soften the nkontombe. Then now you put the nkontombe into your earthenware bowl, you grind it, you add your protein. You are enjoying healthy meals. You haven't loaded with a lot of oil and you haven't overcooked it. The same for garden egg stew. You can prepare this garden egg for a while. Now move it into your earthenware bowl. Mash it or grind it a bit. You can add a little oil to it. And then add your protein. And you have it with your yam, your plantain, even with your rice. So the olden days cooking practices, I think you have to go back to them. Okay.
I see.
Yeah. So these are some lifestyle factors that we can put in place.
Right. I think some of these things we must actually intensify, like education along those lines, because some of these things that you are saying, I'm not quite sure if people actually know some of these things, and so I think we need to do some more education. Maybe we'll find time and have those conversations proper here. Right. Anyway, let's talk about now. You talked a bit about, we've talked about food. You mentioned weight at some point. I want to know how important maintaining a healthy body weight, helps in reducing breast cancer risk.
Good. So, me in my line of practice, I've realized something. I realized that every disease has a link to being overweight or obese.
Say that again.
So, I said in my line of practice, I realized that almost every disease has a link to being overweight or obese.
Wow.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So, yes, a lot. When it comes to risk factors of most diseases, obesity and weight is there, it's sitting at the top. All right? So, that means just by being overweight or obese, you're putting yourself at risk of not just one disease, but multiple. And people get to that stage whereby they have multiple diseases, right? One is metabolic syndrome, right? So that's having diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol. And if you are not able to manage the wounds and others, well, you can even move to ulcer, like ulcer wounds, right? Peptic ulcer too is there. All of these are related to your weight. So just by controlling your weight, you are giving the body, should I say, efficient opportunity to work very well. Okay. Now, weight has a lot of effects. If I want to start mentioning what excess weight can do, I don't know the close today, right? But that's good for our people to know that for every height you have, every height has a particular weight. That weight, and it's even weight range, right? Because you might say, yes, it's very difficult to maintain one weight for a long time. So we have weight ranges. There are people based on their height, their weight is expected to be, let's say, from 50 to 62. There are people based on their height, their weight is expected to be from 60 to 75. Some people too are very tall, so they can handle 80 kg, 90 kg, and they are well balanced. They are fine. They get it. So per your height, you have particular weight range, and that is what guides us on being knowing whether you are overweight or others. Now, the weight is not only detected by BMI. We have something called waist circumference, right?
Yeah.
So we use the tape measure to check for it. That's just to help us know if your waist circumference is, matching up with your body, and that can let us know whether you are at risk for cardiovascular diseases like hypertension, stroke, and others. Do you get it? So just by checking your waist circumference, we can also know you are obese. So we only not use the BMI. We use that waist circumference too. Especially people with pot belly are at risk. And if you question people with excess weight at the central part, if you question them, well, you'll tell you the symptoms that they're experiencing. Some of them say they sleep and they feel they can't breathe well. Some of them feel they wake up in the morning, it's consistent headache till the day ends. Some too, they feel so tired even if they are relaxing and they are not doing anything. All those are having impact on your body. So yes, it's linked. Weight gain is linked across all disease or most disease conditions. So all you need to help yourself. Now, this is where exercise comes into it. So some people say, oh, can I eat healthy and lose weight without exercise? Yes, you can eat healthy and lose weight. But you see, you only have the patience to stay consistent with little results that much.
Yeah.
So you have to add exercise so that it will facilitate for you. Because weight loss comes in with this combination, right? About 70 to 80% of the food should play a role. Then 20 to 30% of exercise. And please, when I say exercise, not I don't mean 1 day exercise and you stay for another 2 weeks and you do another. No, consistent exercise. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So let me use this example. There's this client who want to lose weight, and then I asked, okay, let's start with the meal. So initially, the client said, no, I can't do exercise. So I'm not an exercise person.
Right.
And I said, okay, we're definitely going to bring the exercise into it, but let's start with the meal. And then this person was so serious, consistent with the meal. And we were getting just little results. I was like, the result you are getting today, you can triple it if you start physical activity. And then the client said, okay, let me just start. And I said, okay, we don't want to do anything out of the way. Let's start with, let's say, skipping.
Okay.
So as how many she can do, she said, oh, 50 maximum, 50. Me, as I'm talking to you now, this client is able to do 1,500 skips a day.
Wow.
You get it? All we're doing is to increase about 20 to 50 every day. 20, that's increasing. So challenge yourself. Started with 50, so let's try 55. She did 55. Then now she can skip like continuously 1,500 in the morning before she gets to work. You know, it's become a lifestyle. Now she's getting the results. The conditions which she was being educated to come for dietary consultation is resolving. So now she can see results, and she's not backing out. She's going extra. Do you get it? Because yes, it was blood pressure. Now the blood pressure is getting normal. She's able to maintain consistent blood pressure for long. Her BP, her sugars are good. The weight is reducing. She's seeing results. She's feeling better. Do you get it?
Yeah.
That's some motivation that people should actually embrace. Because when you start seeing results, you want to do it better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so starting somewhere is the thing. And when it comes to exercise, you don't have to always jog. You can pick running. There are people who run, or there are people who walk, right? Who walk, let's say, 10 minutes every day. Imagine you are being consistent 10 minutes every day for 30 days. You would have seen the impact in it.
That's true.
Okay. Yeah. So the consistency plays a huge role when it comes to weight loss. Consistency comes from the food and then the physical activity or exercise.
Okay. We also touched a bit about smoking and drinking. Some people, smoke or drink occasionally and think it's harmless. How do these small habits actually impact the body over time? And maybe is there a safe level of alcohol or tobacco use when it comes to cancer risk?
Okay, so generally there are tolerable limits on intake for alcohol. Okay, right. So we say for males, 2 medium beer is fine for you. For females, 1 medium beer is fine. When it comes to hard alcohol, so the limits for males, 2 of the thought, for women, 1 of the thought. But all these are still not safe.
Right.
The tolerable limits, that doesn't mean it's safe. You understand? All right. There are tolerable limits to it, but still alcohol is not safe.
Okay.
Why am I saying that? You tell me 1 nutrient you get in alcohol. You've heard that somebody gets in alcohol. I'm not saying you can mention any. Okay.
Yeah.
Even if they fortify an alcohol with vitamin A or C, you not get it in the thing, right?
Yeah.
And the calories in it is 0. Foods have calories. When it comes to calories, you know that it's something related to food, right?
Yeah.
Good. So calories are like the measurement of the nutrients or the energy that is in a food. Okay. So we tell you, when you pick, let's say banana, you get this number of calories. When you pick rice, this number of calories, because you are quantifying the nutrients in them. That's where you are getting calories. But imagine alcohol is giving you 0 calories. You get it. So already you don't get the nutrients in it. Now, imagine you are taking something into your body. It's not going to give you nutrients. It's weakening your muscles. It's also preventing you from eating. Do you think that is going to help with the proper functioning of the body? No. That is not going to help. So alcohol doesn't nourish you. It rather affects the nourishment. Okay? So people take alcohol and they say, I take alcohol and then I don't feel like eating anymore. It suppresses your appetite, because appetite, the sensation of appetite comes from the brain. And at that point, the whole feeling of being dizzy or not aware of yourself doesn't give chance to the brain to function for you to eat. So you might get malnourished just by taking alcohol. It weakens the muscles. And here we are saying that the cause cancer is, the cells reacting to themselves. And the main cause is unknown. Research is yet to find the exact cause of cancer. But all we know is that the tissues react to themselves. So if tissues are likely to react to themselves, and you are already bringing things into the body that weaken the operation of these tissues, don't you think it's easy for them to react against themselves?
Yeah.
Yes, it's very easy for them to react against themselves. Okay. Now, smoking too, on the other hand, suppresses the immunity of the body. Likewise, alcohol. So we are fighting to build immunity so that this antioxidant can fight, any wrong coding in the body, any pathogen in the body, any bacteria in the body.
Yeah.
Tell us the case, you are taking things that will suppress the immunity, like smoking.
Right.
Yes, it goes into the lungs. You are developing lung cancer, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. It spreads to the breast, and then you now have breast cancer. And this is on both genders, either male or female. Right? So currently, 1 out of 100 males are likely to get it. Okay? So it's very, very, very important to pay attention to these lifestyle factors. And smoking. Smoking is I don't know why people smoke. They might have reason for it. But smoking doesn't make you satisfied. It just, gives you the euphoria of a particular feeling, which fades shortly. And you need to smoke again to get back that feeling.
Yeah.
And when that feeling gets over, you need to smoke again. So unlike you having time to eat healthy meals, you are not having time to do smoking, right? And I tell people, the smoker is not the only one who is holding the cigarette or the source of the smoke. Okay, the one who is around that person is a secondary smoker. You get it?
Yeah.
Yes, because you are there, you inhale, and you don't bring it out. Even the first person takes it in and brings it out. You get it? Brings some amount out. So secondary smoker will be like, oh, I don't smoke at all, but you hang around with people who smoke. You stay in an environment whereby a lot of smoking is going on, and you are chilling and you are enjoying. All this can put you at risk for breast cancer. So because the cause of breast cancer, which is the tissues reacting to themselves, is unknown, anything that can put you at risk are educated about. Okay. So that's why we don't give safe zones around it. First, the cause is unknown. We tell you don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Right? Unlike diabetes, we know that it's the insulin not being high, and that's not being enough, and that can cause excess glucose to affect you. We now advise you on the glucose, right? So that's for diabetes. You go straight forward to it. But for cancer, including breast cancer, the cause is really unknown. So anything that can put you at risk has to be tackled, and there's no safe zone. Even if you don't have family history, lifestyle factor can put you at risk. Even if you have family history, lifestyle factor can still put you at risk.
Right.
So you have to play all sides safe.
I see. So it looks like there's so much to talk about. But our time is almost up, and I want us to just talk about stress and sleep, which are also two very important things. And now these two things, we don't often link them to cancer. Do they play a role in any way?
Yes. So stress has an indirect link to cancer. All right. Why am I saying that? So stress can be managed. You can't prevent stress. So you hear about stress management. You realize that?
Yeah.
Because each and every day you are prone to stress. Work, driving, moving around, walking, thinking. You have some amount of stress. So stress management is the key. Now, when you get tired or you are stressed or depressed, there's this hormone called cortisol. All right? Cortisol, which is we call it stress hormone. So anytime you are stressed, just know this particular hormone called cortisol increases. Right? Now, increase of cortisol affects a lot of things. Increase of cortisol can affect your weight loss. So let's say you are losing weight and you are not having you're having a lot of stress on you, the weight loss wouldn't happen. No. It won't happen because excess cortisol affects how you lose weight. Excess cortisol also affects your blood sugars. Excess cortisol affects your your blood pressure, right? So if all these things come together, I'm not sure you will get a successful weight loss. And also not losing the weight is a risk factor for breast cancer. You get the link?
Yeah.
So, and then if you are stressed and the cortisol level is high, it gives a signal to the body that this guy is going through an activity. So you want to slow down your system, help you manage your stress. So excess cortisol affects weight loss, and that can go a long way. And then there are people too, when they are stressed, they binge eat, right? So let's bring this in. Binge eating means that you are eating just for pleasure, not for satisfaction. Okay?
Yeah.
So you be like, oh, get me some burger, and when you are coming, bring some chips, French fries, and add some plantain chips. And you are eating this, and you be like, oh, let me just add some soda drink to it. And you are not eating, you be like, I can't stay, let me chew something. So throughout the day, the person is just chewing, eating. The person doesn't have the sensation of, I'm full. No. It's just eating for pleasure. And people do that a lot when they are stressed, right? They eat to comfort themselves. So the person tell you, I'm stressed, let me just eat. There are people who eat just to cope with their stress. And when that is happening, that means the more you are stressed, the more you eat those foods. And during those periods, the craving doesn't come for healthy food. It comes for unhealthy food. Okay? So if you are stressed consistently, that means you are likely to, your mood is likely to influence your food intake. And there are people who like to comfort themselves with food. So at that point, they end up binge eating, and that can add up to their weight. And the binge eating comes with unhealthy food. So the fat is going to increase, their weight is going to increase, salt is going to be high, and at the end of the day, all these risk factors come together to influence, even if you have a family history of this condition.
Okay, Julius, let's try and wrap up now. So let's bring it home. Okay. I mean, what can our listeners start doing today to protect themselves and their loved ones? Very quick ones. Yeah, then we can go.
Okay. So quick one. We are in the breast cancer awareness month, right?
Yeah.
So you can start by one, which is something we should all do, male or female. Do self-examination, right? So now, like I said, social media is there. Just type breast cancer self-examination. Either on YouTube, Facebook, something will pop up and you can do it yourself. So start by breast examination, or you can go to the facilities, the clinic, the hospital. Currently, they are doing it for free. Even somebody told me that she went for breast examination and they end up giving her a package.
Wow.
I don't know how that is good. So they do that because corporate groups, companies have, female packages or women packages, male packages for those who come to do the screening, and it's for free. So you can go and do that screening. Aside the screening, please start managing your food. It all starts with the consciousness. Monitor your food, okay? I'm eating first, breakfast, lunch, dinner. What you can start today is by having balance in your meals. Balance should be the first thing. If you want to start eating right now, today, this afternoon, as I'm talking to you right now, get balance in your meal. And balance means your food has some carbohydrates, some protein, some vegetables, some fruits, and some oil. Do you get it? Balance it. Don't let any of this get missing in your food. So if you are having consciousness to balancing, if you want to go for porridge this morning, you will not go for, let's say, Hausa cocoa with tea bread. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Realizing that there's no balance in there. But if you want to have balance in there, then this morning you can go for the Hausa cocoa with some granules or other form of nuts like almond nuts, cashew nuts, others. You can go for some of the nuts and then do some kose. Kose is made of beans, right? So you get protein from the kose, you get protein from your nuts, and also healthy fat from the nuts, which is granules, and then your carbohydrates being the cocoa. So in that instance, you have a balance in there. So let's start with balance. Then the second thing you can do today is meal timing, right?
Yeah.
Your last meal. You want to have your last meal 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. You get it?
Okay.
Before bedtime. And then, whilst you finish eating, don't just sit down. Engage in some form of activity. Right? So we encourage that you have early dinner or early meal. If you can do that, you realize that able to manage it. So yes, balancing timing, start it today. Exercise and others you can eat later. We are good to go.
Right, Julius, thank you so much. I think it's been a very, very great conversation with a lot of insights. Really grateful that you joined me.
You're welcome.
All right. Please do enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thank you, and I hope to join you. Yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
Yes, thank you so much, and I hope to join you again
soon. Sure, definitely. All right, so that was Julius Samai, and he is a registered licensed dietitian, and he's giving us so much insight as to how your diet, really your lifestyle as well, affects or puts you at risk to breast cancer. And so a very important conversation. If you miss any part, you can visit our social media platforms. On Facebook, we're at ZFMGH, and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please do well to visit those platforms, and you can play back and learn a lot of things about the food you're eating and how that makes you puts you at risk to breast cancer. So that's how we wrap up today on the Business Breakfast on Zed. It's been a very great conversation. We'll be back again tomorrow for more interesting ones. Tomorrow is Friday, so we'll bring you another very good conversation that will help you in terms of lifestyle or leisure. So please keep listening to Z101.9 FM. My name is Nitrebi Hammond. Thanks so much to the team for their support. Until we meet again tomorrow, when you think Ghana